What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Carlotta Challenge Show. I am back for another talk. Oh my goodness. Okay, so how's my week been? Uh let's just start. Right, was it? We're already Wednesday. My God, it just seemed like it was just Monday. I mean, it feels like everything is fast. Everything is moving so fast. I hope you guys had a wonderful Juneteenth weekend. I did. I really enjoyed my Juneteenth weekend this weekend. I really did. I really was like outside. I'm a Scorpio. I don't like being outside. But I was outside among the humans. I was like, oh my God. But I had a really, really great time. I really had a good time. Let's see, and I do get outside, but it's like usually to run errands and different things like that. Then I like going back to my habitat. Oh my God, I'm trying to figure out what to do to July the 4th, though. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Who knows? Okay, I'll be honest. It's early, guys. It's early. It's early. I decided to do the show early. Listen, when you just like the last couple of months, I've just been tired. Just really just, I don't know where it's coming from. I have been. It's just like, what? Like just extreme tired. Okay, but yeah, but I'm still good. I'm still enjoying it, having enjoying the summer so far. Okay, so there's so much to talk about in the news. I'm trying to think. Do you guys have a it's a word? Really, there's no it's a word today that I know of. Let me see. My yeah, there's no it's a word today. Sometimes it's just no it's a word. I have gotten back. What I would encourage you guys to do is I have gotten back to reading a lot. Oh my God, because I love to read. And I have a few things like I'm trying to read over the summer. And I'm trying to do this paper. Oh, this paper. Just, oh my God. So I'm getting ready to have to read for that. Yes, I'm trying to do my paper ahead of time. I'm really wanting to just turn it in at school time. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to fuss and fight. This is I'm trying to make this is the end. This is the semester. Right? I graduate, I get that master's. I'm tired. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, you guys. So hope for the best for me. That's what I'm going through right now. But let me tell. I will talk about my Juneteenth weekend. I had a lot of fun. I got. I went. I love vendors. Okay. I found a great vendor, like a store with this lady had beautiful books. I'm a book person and I got some fun. I love children's books. So I got a couple of children's books like about Black history, Oprah Lee, something that they had that was really nice. And I really like they are really I love they're really colorful and stuff like that. I really like stuff like that, and they tell the history of certain things. I collect children's books. I love children's books, but I accidentally bought this one book, and I'm going, no, why did I buy that? Because I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, that's what. And then I went to this other event, and they had all kinds of vendors on the street. I'm gonna tell you, I have not seen vendors that sell fake Louis and stuff like that in a long ass time. It was funny to see. I remember I used to go to New York to buy stuff like that. Oh my God. I did back in the day. Like like I'm gonna date myself. In the 90s, they used to just sell that shit on the street. I remember I was in Miami one time, right? This was back in the day. And so my friend was trying to tell me, who was from New York. We was hanging out. I think we was hanging out for a Super Bowl or something like that. And she's like, don't buy that jacket. I saw this beautiful like leather jacket I loved. I was like, oh my God, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And listen, back in the 90s, the amount I paid for this jacket was high. It wouldn't be high today, but back for the 90s, it was high. So I was like, I was like, no, I gotta get this jacket. Oh, it's so fly, stuff like that. It was like probably at that time, maybe five something or six something. That's expensive for the 90s. For the 90s, that was high. Okay. So my friend was like, you should not do that. We're going to New York next month. I'm telling you, don't do it. I was like, girl, psh, right? And this is back when I forget what the jacket was. This was a Marc Jacobs or something when Marc Jacobs was real fly and stuff like that. I forget what it is. I still got Marc Jacobs. I still carry a Marc Jacobs purse, but this is when it was real exclusive, right? So I was like, I think it was like a soft leather. I love this jacket. And every time I wore that jacket, I got so many compliments. But let me tell you the story. I bought it in the summertime from this boutique in Miami. I get to New York probably a month and a half later. We're walking down the street. We do our normal, we doing our normal. That's when they have vendors on the street in New York. You go to New York and there used to be vendors like all that, like back in the day. Like it was really different than it is now. I think after what was it, after Giuliani, they kind of cleared the streets. I don't know, New Yorkers, you tell me. I can't remember, but I know when I would go, it was vendors. It was people out there selling stuff. They used to just, you can walk down, you get anything, right? So I was walking past this I wanted to go. This is how old I am. I was telling you, I'm dating myself. Fat Form was a thing back then, okay? And I wanted to go. I was so excited about going to the Fat Form store because they had a store. And it wasn't even all that, right? But I bought a lot of stuff because it was stuff back then, right? And I remember about this t-shirt, dress, and everything like that. So as I'm coming out, like it's a little storefront. It's these little storefronts along the thing I can remember. And I'm walking down the street with my friends. And we look over and my friend goes, oh my God, and starts laughing. My jacket that I paid almost $600 for is in the front of of this storefront for $125. I almost passed out. I said, that can't be more. I was so hot. And my friend who was with, she said, I told you not to. So I learned my lessons, So I love a good vendor. I love a good shop, like where it's out for. Vendors you can find so many things from, but that was a name brand. But vendors you could find so many unusual things, things that people make. So I'm at this particular event. They have all kind of vendors. Juneteenth event. It's so many. Listen, they had this young lady. I saw two people. One had these bracelets that were so hot. I was like, it was too, the line was like, I didn't want to wait in line. So I just got the card so I can order bracelets later on. And nobody was buying the bracelets. They was buying all kind of, they was buying other stuff. I was like, how y'all not seeing them bracelets? But because they were beautiful, because she carved them like out of wood. They're so cute. But I go down, I'm going down. There's this girl there. And she has earrings that she makes. Listen, boo, listen. And I'm a jewelry girl. I love me some cute jewelry. I was like, listen, okay. It was cute, affordable. Yes. Okay. I found a great, God, like a nice little deal. It was really good. That's what I felt when I was in the Dominican Republic. I got nice, like really a couple of things I really like. You don't understand, I was shopping. I like to shop, and I like to shop for cheap. Well, no, I like expensive. I have I like expensive things, but I like to get them for a deal. Am I crazy? I don't know. Okay, but I love vendors because vendors often will have sometimes things for a deal. But I'm not a person. I never was a person much to buy fake stuff, like fake purse. I have bought a couple when I was in like years ago, like in the 90s. I was in New York. I think I bought one like back in the day, like a Louis, and then the next, like I think it was 2 or 3 months down the line, I got one for like Christmas or something, a real one. So it was just like, I hated, I stopped doing it. I was like, I will not. But these, I have not seen people with really good fakes. These were really good. And it was women crawling over there. And here's one thing I learned years ago, when I was in New York, and they had those areas where they had the like marketplaces where they had vendors outside back in the day. What I really learned was that, not that white people are a standard, but a lot of times Black people tend to follow that, like what like we make the trends, but we tend to take something that is usually like exclusive and try to make it hot, like for streets, right? Well, I learned about Louis Vuitton and all that kind of crazy stuff. Now it's all kind of other expenses. So they got Birkin bags and all that stuff. Shit, Birkin bag, like serious. I mean, that's like wow. But yeah, but what I learned though, when I used to go to those places, it was nothing but white women in those. And I think it was like middle class at that time. My God, they were buying those bags up. They were all fake. Oh my God, crazy. Just true. Just my story. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, so I learned, I was like, yeah, they're not spending all that money on these bags. Now, if you can afford something like a Birkin bag or something like that, good for you. I mean, I can't even imagine being like super, but people tell me, yes, you can. I said, well, you might be right. I can't imagine paying $7,000 for a person. I think I would just be like ready to faint. But I used to have this friend, a girlfriend of mine, who's like a true fashionista. Like she was just true, like true to heart fashionista. And she would buy every expensive thing known to me. It was nothing for her well, she had the, she was the hypergamous. She was definitely hypergamous. You know what I'm saying? Like she used to have, like, her boyfriend owned all these owned all these brownstones in New York or whatever. He would rent out that his family had. Like, it was crazy. And she would have stacks of checks. Like he traveled back and forth between where we lived in New York City, right? And she would have stacked, her checks hadn't even been cashed. I'd be like, that's crazy. Like, because he was giving her, he was, so she would buy these like really sweet. It would be stuff I had never even heard of, seen. I'd be like, this is crazy. So I thought it was, and she had no problem with like spending $1,500 for a pair of shoes. That was nothing. And this was in the day. This was back in the day. I thought I was expensive and exclusive, so I met her. Oh no. She was like, you ain't doing nothing. Like she would just, that would be nothing to her. So yeah, which was crazy because I would just be like, really? Child, you wouldn't see my check. My checks would be in the bank. Crazy though. Yeah, so that's funny. I don't know how I got in the story, but funny story because I just saw a lot of vendors. So I did enjoy that. I enjoy seeing vendors out there and people selling things. I always love that. All right, you guys. So what do we need to talk about first? I mean, listen, y'all out here talking about Oprah. Y'all mad at Oprah about this Whitney Houston thing. And you know what? Y'all not gonna like what I'm gonna say. Because usually I'm not on Oprah's side, but I'm on Oprah's side this time. Just like I'm on Jay-Z's side about Target because I don't see the point of boycotting DEI. Nobody has still been able to explain to me. I had one person explain to me why we're boycotting DEI. They said, well, at least the 4%. We got a little bit of 4%. I was like, what? I don't understand. I think it's the concept. My whole thing is, even if somebody's being racist or evil, to break down the structure of a system that has not benefited the people, you can break down the structure because we need to rebuild the structure in some sort of way. It shouldn't. Black people have been ousted by those programs. Those programs have not helped Black people. So I don't see the point in boycott Target. Just like, really, and there's another thing boycott that's going on. And I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all trying to boycott a lot of these Asian stuff. But I've also said that this is what Black people don't understand. Even if you go into a Black owned hair thing, we're not talking about the deeper issues. Okay. A lot of people have bought into the distribution of Black hair products, even Asians. So the very product that you have to buy may be owned by an Asian company. This is what I'm just trying to tell you guys. This isn't one of those things, in my opinion. And people hate when I talk about stuff like this, but this isn't one of those things where, yeah, let's boycott. this is one of those situations where we have allowed a lot of things politically to happen up under our nose that's put us in a hard situation as Black people in America. And that the leaders, not all the leaders, because there's some great leadership out here, people out here, and no, but there's really, I won't say lead, I say there's some great people out here trying to fight for deeper, for Black people to understand things deeper politically. Um, I talk about them all the time, even though I don't agree. I don't agree always with everything with Yvette Carnell. So I'm a little bit, I have a little conservative, some conservative values. I don't believe everything for the Democratic Party. I don't believe everything for the Republican Party. Uh, uh, but I like her. I like the way she's, the ideas and that it's a clear thought, even if I disagree with it. I like Tariq. Tariq serves his place to me. I mean, Tariq is a great marketer, but Tariq also has a lot of knowledge. He's good at putting out the ideas, putting out what's going on. So yeah, even though they don't like each other, but but I think that's what is going on. I don't know if that's like that anymore. I don't know what's going on there. But I think there's a lot of people who are trying to get us to understand that a lot of our leadership that's been on television, that's been in place, that you see on MSNBCs and everything like that. A lot of these people have been set up by the Democratic Party, in my personal opinion, to keep Black people in check. Not that the Republican Party is all that great, but it's just that it's been put up by the Democratic Party, and a lot of them they only go so far politically. We've been betrayed really by that party to me. I mean, when you look at situations like DEI, they have not been historically for Black people. It just has not. So we'll talk about that a little later on, because I'm going to talk about something very interesting. We've been talking about illegal immigration. Okay, everybody's out here beeping to now. Okay, but we've been talking about illegal immigration in America and how it's affected the Black community. Well, not only is it happening in America, but illegal immigration, they're having parts of Africa are going on, particularly South Africa. It's very interesting what's happening in South Africa and Ghana. Very upset about illegal immigration, illegal, migrants. They don't like you say illegal coming into people's countries and taking jobs and stuff like that. Now, listen, this is not the fault of the worker, the migrant workers, but even though some of you guys can take on ideas of the oppressor, you come in thinking you're the hard workers and all that stuff when it's not true, or you think you're smarter and more educated. What a lot of these times, what is going on, what these people are doing is they know they have a culture that has been abused, especially you're looking at something like South Africa. South Africa has had a very different situation from anyone in Africa. Okay, they've been under apartheid, so that's a very different system than colonization and all of that. Okay, and what has happened to them has historically and structurally hurt and damaged that country in ways that's probably Black people in that country in ways that you can't imagine. Okay, so just think of Black America. It's, even though we're the minority, I think it's a different thing. It's a lot of different, but it's similar. It has some similar things. And when you see that, you see these people who have been in power, which is an old trick of white supremacy to me, will try to not educate the people that's there. They're angry at that culture for fighting back for their homeland and stuff. So what they'll do is bring in other migrants while these people are struggling and poor and don't have food to eat and all these things, and they don't have their own jobs and they don't have their own job creation. They've essentially hurt their system, broke down their system, used their system to build themselves unfair through built themselves up through unfair practices and stuff like that, through racism. And so now you want to bring in other people, and they know this is going to cause issues. This is how, I always tell people this is how Hitler rose. If you look at what happened in Germany, Germans were going through um, poverty. There was a lot of bad things happening in Germany, and that is why Hitler was able to come through with the message he was able to come through with. And I always say Hitler was a byproduct of these powers that be breaking down certain systems in Germany. There, and that's a long story, but we'll talk about that some other time. Let's just y'all. Let me get. Let's get in. Hold on, guys. Okay, y'all. Let's get into just Whitney Houston getting back. I went all off. Y'all see how I be doing. Okay, but y'all mad at Oprah about Whitney Houston. Okay, I'm not mad at Oprah. Okay, I'm gonna take up for Oprah. Like I said, took up for Jay-Z this time, even though I'm about to laugh at Jay-Z and Beyonce in a minute. Okay. And this is why I have a hate thing about Beyonce. I like Beyonce at sometimes and I hate it at some. It's not hate her. I hate the how they do. It's like they don't really know when they don't really. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so let's get to Oprah. Y'all are upset because Oprah told the story about Whitney Houston. Okay, if you haven't heard, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with what I have to say, but Oprah, let's see if we can bring it TMZ. Had it so here. Okay, if I can find it, y'all. Okay, so Oprah apparently told this story while she was talking about social media today and how to use your platforms and stuff for good and everything. I think she was talking about how, people, I think she may have been talking about people exposing people and things like that. But she was saying how, okay. She was saying how one time okay, it's interesting. Okay, let me see, y'all. Hold on, I'm trying to look at some other news came up and I'm reading it as I'm typing it. Let's see, y'all. Okay, Oprah told a story about Whitney Houston. I'm trying to pull it up, y'all, uh, so y'all can hear it yourself. But she talked about how on her show that Whitney Houston one time appeared on her show, and that Whitney, it was during I think her last performance on the show. So she told this story at Cannes. Uh, Oprah is a journalist. Oprah is a talk show host. Oprah is that's what she does. Low key, Oprah be sometimes gossiping. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Oprah is. She's telling you a story that happened on her show. And I'm assuming that Oprah told this story because she know all y'all know Whitney Houston by now was a drug addict. So bad of a drug addict that it affected even her child. The gifts of God are without repentance. Gifts are a great thing. Gifts will bring you before. My spiritual mom used to tell me about that Bible verse. She said, your gifts will bring you before that great men. Because your gifts bring you before your great men. But gifts are not, they don't necessarily shape your character. are shaped sometimes, and listen, that's all of us. They don't sometimes shape, excuse the bad in us, or the things that we did that were not so smart in our lives. Okay, so let me get, because a lot of times in Hollywood we have this thing for Hollywood people where we want to say, well, like we just want to hear the good, okay? Because we think that we think the gift should outshine the story, but really the gift is a part of the story. Because the story and the lesson is here. I would think, I bet Whitney, just my personal opinion, that I bet somebody like Whitney Houston will want y'all to get the lessons that she should have learned. And she's not allowed to be here anymore because she only has so much time. And Whitney Houston's story is tragic. It's not a good story. It's not a nice story. It's a tragic one. So I want y'all to be, let's go. We can ready to get real here for a second here, because I think we not being real about certain things, and certain things about society. We don't catch certain things because we're glorifying people's giftings instead of people who the story they came here to tell. Just because somebody can sing very well doesn't mean, as we see all the time, we see people in Hollywood all the time, we hear horrible stuff about. We see Diddy right now serving time in jail, right, for crazy stuff he was doing. Just because you have a gift don't mean that you don't have trouble, that you're not troubled. So let me let y'all hear this, what she said here. It says, wow, Oprah Winfrey reveals that Whitney Houston, this is from the Neighborhood Talk, was once so high after relapsing on drugs that she fell off her talk show stage. Oprah convinced her audience not to release photos out of fear that it would ruin Whitney's life. And at the time, she was trying to make a comeback, okay? At that time. And that was, and she was, I think she was just saying the responsibility. She was using that because y'all just only thinking about her telling this story about Whitney. Why you got to even tell them that? I was about to say that, but then I had to think about it. And while she was telling the story, you got to put the story in context. While she was telling the story was because she was showing the responsibility that people took so they could protect Whitney in some ways. You don't got to protect her no more, though. She gone. Maybe people did too much protecting. So Oprah telling the story is, to me, a very powerful thing. But let's take a listen to what she said here. Put y'all up here, yeah.
Tell me, what do you want? What do you want to happen here? And I'm going to tell you what I want to happen here. And that was one of the most powerful interviews. And do you all know this is an amazing thing that happened? I had such trust from the Oprah show audience that Whitney did, I think it was her last show with us, and she had gone back on drugs. The first interview I did with her when we'd gone behind stage and I asked her about her intention, she was clean. But the day she came to my show then to perform in front of the audience, she was not. And she fell off of the stage. And I knew that if that story got out that she'd fallen off of the stage, that she would be destroyed by that. And so even though the audience was there and the audience had cameras, I begged them not to put those pictures out because it would ruin her life, and they did not.
And what about...
That would not happen today, I can tell you.
Yeah. What about...
Okay, so she told that story, and she talked about how her audience was so good that they didn't do that. Which was pretty, that's because today that would show it be out there, okay? And a lot of y'all are mad at her for telling that story. What are you mad about her? What are you mad about? What is it that you didn't know about Whitney Houston? Whitney Houston had about 5-10 documentaries out here, a movie done about her life. What is it that y'all don't know? Well, I just want to remember the good. Now, Pat Houston, they say, allegedly has come out and said that was not true. Whitney was not high. Pat, I say shut down, keep running the state, okay? Because I got so many questions for Pat. Pat shouldn't be talking about nothing. Pat, my personal opinion is that when Whitney went under that watch, it was, in my personal opinion, didn't look good after that. Also, her daughter, anybody who have that child, that let that child take that reality show a couple of months. Listen, I don't listen. Pat, keep running the state, dear. Don't even respond to Oprah. Here's my thing. Oprah has a right to tell that story because you all know now. There is, a matter of fact, if I was, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have begged people not to put those pictures out because it was ruining her life anyway. She was dead within a few years, couple of years or something like that. It would drug you. It was ruining her life. I remember I heard one of her, I think it was Bobby's sister. I can't remember who it was. They were talking about how they kept warning her to get it together and stuff like that. But she said she just put pictures out because she said that would get their attention. I don't know if that's y'all want giftings to hide things that could kill people, like addictions and drug addictions and stuff like that. No. I think there's a certain amount of time that people will protect you, and you need protection. But if after a while protection starts to become, people start to become what people call enablers. Even your protection becomes enabling because people are not even trying to get to listen. I don't know, in Whitney Houston's case, I understand addictions are hard and they are hard to break. However, this is addiction. Whitney Houston's story, y'all can't make it pretty. It ain't pretty. The first half was a fairy tale. You see her come to fame and fortune. All her gift brought her. It reminds me of what Joyce Meyer said. Don't let your gift to put you where your character can't keep you. And Whitney struggled with her addiction. She struggled with character issues. We all do. But the fame really took her over. And it was so bad that it not only destroyed her life, she destroyed her child's life too. Oh yeah. That's my personal opinion. Yes, probably Christina made her own choices, but probably having seen those addictions growing up, seeing all that did not help the situation. No, this story was not pretty. It's not a pretty story. It's not a nice story. Well, I just want to know about the good that she did. No, that's her gift. Gifts are not to be confused with her life and what the story it tells. Yes, there were great things in it. We all gonna have that. People gonna have good things and bad things. But some people are gonna have tragic outcomes because they let something take over their life and they let something destroy it. I mean, what is it that y'all don't want to hear? What is you don't want Oprah to tell? Everything that's been out there, everything been told. You don't want her to tell about Whitney falling on stage, and she probably got more dirt than that. But Whitney falling on stage at her show, that was something soft. And her audience not telling. All these stories have been out here about Whitney Houston. It's been a lot of them. It's been a lot of people on TV everywhere that told some horrible stories. And y'all mad at Oprah for telling a story about, child, y'all better stop. Just to stop it. Whitney's legacy is Whitney's legacy. It's not an insult to her legacy. It is part of her legacy. Part of Whitney Houston's legacy is drug usage. I'm not gonna be real. We're gonna stop. No, that's what it is. Part of her story is drug usage. As a matter of fact, drug addiction became so bad in her life that it almost usurps the talent. And at times it did. And that is a lesson for us all. A warning of sorts. So no, quit trying to make everything pretty. You gotta tell that. You gotta tell that. Why not? Y'all know everything anyway. I mean, the woman's old girlfriend been out here. Everybody been out here talking about her sexuality, her life, everything. Because you know what? Not only is your gift going to be put on display. That's the price. Not only is your gift going to be put on display, but your lifestyle going to be put on display. And how you handle the gift. How you handle what you do with your life, how you handle it is going to show. It's going to show up. I have to say that about me. I be like, oh, some stuff I be like, Lord, thank God I ain't famous because Lord, they do this. People know I'm a bitch. What I do? And part of that is because you have to be prepared. Sometimes people are put in places they're not prepared for. Or they don't understand the price about what they're getting ready to pay. There is always a price. This is a world of exchange. This is a world of sacrifice, reciprocity, and all is there. And your gift is not there to excuse all the other stuff in your life. People do this all the time. I saw this the other day with a particular person, entertainer. Somebody was on the thing, and this entertainer to me, it's just, I'm like, they be just like, they suck at certain things. And I'm like, that sucks. That's, because I believe, my personal opinion is, you the entertainer, especially in this day and time, you have to be a lot more appreciative of your fan base. I saw this girl do a thing who talks about music industry stuff, and she was talking about the power of a super fan. And I might show that a little bit later on here, but she was saying how super fans are so powerful, that they do publicity for you. They put up, if you not on the internet, they putting stuff on the internet about you every day. And a lot of these stores are so ratchet, and y'all allow them to be ratchet. They the most ratchet group people I've seen. It's like a lack of ungratefulness. I ain't never seen such ungrateful motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like this, not all of them, but it's a lot of them. And you see the ungrateful. Like it's one particular artist. They like people be out here. I mean, I don't know if it's bots or what. Some of it is, but a lot like they be just out here just. And I feel like that's why the age of the superstar is dying, because it's a lot of people that's ungrateful. A lot of people don't understand that. I understand you can't be friend or do everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? But you need to have a team that is set up. I think every artist should have a team that is customer service based. Meaning that maybe you can't be on the internet every day, but damn it, when people wish you happy birthday or when they do something nice and stuff like that, people done spent the whole day. Well, damn it, somebody whoever running the Instagram or whoever running, you are so, because today you can communicate. But a lot of these motherfuckers is mad they can communicate, because this is what's going on here. A lot of them just want to get out there and sing their music, and they don't want to do the business part. Now I'm starting I used to think, I'm gonna tell y'all, my thoughts have changed. Even though the music business is not being the greatest to the artists, but the artists haven't been that great in the music business either. You talking about not all artists, but a lot of them who get wealthy, who get rich, they start getting addicted, they start getting in drink, they start because they got too much time. The fame them went to their head. And it can happen to any of us. The ego has just gotten so huge. And like you start thinking, well, I don't got time for that. Not understanding there is a price for fame. There is an exchange that happens when you sign when you go to the record company, just know tonight. If you getting ready to, if you say, you know what, I want my music to be heard all over the world, you are engaging in selling products. Even if the product is yourself. And understand what that price is. And understand, yes, you can't do everything, but you need to have a great team that understands that, hey, we appreciate this. We appreciate that. That always shows appreciation. You might can't do it, but you need to have somebody that's showing that they can do it. I see these fans make excuses. I mean, listen, that's why I say they got super fans. Because we think the gift is more important. I don't think that. I don't give a kick shit. You can have a gift. A lot of people got gifts out here. I've seen drug addicts on the corner who can out-sing motherfuckers that's been some of the greatest singers that the world has known. I've seen dudes on the corner who didn't get their shot because gifts are not the issue. Gifts come and go. I've seen people who can't sing a lick, big old stars. Some of it is proximity, you having to live in the right place. Some of it is right breaks and all this stuff. That's why a lot of them sometimes they don't know how to handle it. But some of it is people who are prepared for it. And usually people who are prepared for it and understand it, they're a lot better with it. But what you have a lot of times with these people is they don't feel the need to, there's one person, I ain't gonna say, y'all know I already talked about, but there's one person that her fans be on there. She just posts pictures. She don't say nothing. She don't give no love to nobody. She don't do nothing, but people always giving energy. I'm like, what did that make sense? There is no even exchange. She don't even say, how y'all doing today? But the motherfucker will show up to sell her products. That's crazy. You can't ask me. It's like I was reading. I remember a story about years ago about customer service. People with some of the greatest customer service in the world, and she was saying they were talking about this waitress in, I think it was a restaurant in the 80s in New York City. People were coming because she had such great customer service. She knew how to make people feel good about themselves. She was so good at her job as a waitress. They had waits at this particular restaurant because of her. They were all waiting to be done to sit with her. She would have hours of waiting. But because she focused on customer service, it is something about that game in Hollywood. There's something about the artists and stuff like that, that there is this thing that feels like, and I understand that you don't have to have customer service. You bought into the hype that your gift means everything. Your gift, because that is a business that tells you your gift is everything. But this is not just about your gift. If you sincerely want to share your artistry with the world, It's something I've been reading, and it's something I love. It's something I've been reading lately, and it's something in the Word of God that says, "No man builds a house unless they consider the cost." You don't be, you don't set out to do. You have to understand the cost. I used to love this song. It used to come on, and I talked about it on here before. It used to be this song, this gospel, old gospel song. Well, it's not an old gospel. It's an old gospel. It's like from an old. I forget the name of that group, but they was real popular at one time, and they was kind of like like a kind of pop gospel group, and it was a song for the sake of the car. I'm laying down my all, no turning back, moving straight ahead. But the whole song was about for the sake of the call. I understand this is the call of my life. For the sake of the call, I am. This is what it is. I remember some of the songs. It was on a day like no other. I can't seek in your face. I discovered my life was no longer my own but yours, and it just goes on about this call that people have. So your call, it is not just about your gift that you can sing or that you can act or that you can dance or that you can do this and that. That is a leeway. That is your message to the world. You feel like you have a message to share. You feel like you have something to share. Then respect the people who are going to take it out there to you. And people, you know what? This is what's crazy. Fans will ignore all the bad stuff about artists. That's why I was talking about Whitney Houston. They getting mad right now because Oprah done told the truth about Whitney. Y'all know she went back on drugs. Shit. That's why she's right there. Where she at? That's why there's a graveyard right now. She's at the grave because she went back on drugs. Okay, we're not in denial about that. What's going on here? That story shouldn't be no anger about that story. It is her real life. And it is a message because, listen, let me tell you something. All the price that you pay for other artists out here, all the price that you pay that you pay for voice lessons, to dance, to practice, to sing, you're going to let drugs fuck it up. And I understand pain can happen. It can happen to me, anybody. But you can, if it happens, if you let it overtake you, it will be a part of your story. It will share in your story, and it should share because you gave it that much power. And it will always, you will be mentioned with it. Now, you will not only be the poster boy for having the greatest voice of all time, but you will also be the poster person for ruining it all, for letting drugs and as much as we can say today with drugs, it's like they can't help it. You might can. Addictions are hard to break, but you still give it power. It still takes over, and you still will be the warning sign. I won't take that from her either, because it ain't about her gift. I'm saying to all of y'all, let it be a warning to you. That when you work that hard, don't let nothing take you working hard and she work, and you about to let some crack or cocaine or something come up in here and take your life, take your shit. No. Don't let it do that. You fought hard to get there. You fight hard to get off of whatever's trying to block you. But going back to this, a lot of fans excuse this bad behavior for gifts. They'll excuse bad behavior because they'll be like, gifts. I had this happen too when I was talking about somebody on a situation, and one of the fans said to me, well, what do you want? I was like, yeah, I want my money worth. I don't excuse people coming out on stage drunk. Shit, when I done pay $400 a ticket, what the fuck is going on around here? What are we doing here? It's not that I don't have empathy or sympathy. I understand it, but by the grace of God. But you got to understand that's somebody's money you playing with. But y'all let people get away with all kind of stuff because y'all think we supposed to, even when they die, you supposed to say, no, let's just remember the good. No, that is not how life works. If somebody out here tonight, so unfortunately, I've been watching a horrible ID channel. The ID channel's horrible. We just be having a horrible, just show how bad humankind is, okay? But even your death is a story. People's lives become synonymous with certain things. Now, if somebody take your life, that's different. I don't want to compare that because that's somebody hijacking your destination. And so people have the right to have their people remembered as good. That's a different thing. Hijacking your destination is different. Stealing your destination is different. But for people who come into things and you just give away, listen, let me tell you something. And that's even there to hijack you. So to me, one of the greatest things you could do as an artist is to be grateful, to be kind. Always set your team up to be good. Not nice. I'm talking about kind and smart, protective. But your gift does not allow you to put out bare minimum. Your gift does not allow you to do whatever the hell you want. I know this is what we've created in the entertainment business. And this is why, to me, the entertainment business is just, they've been getting robbed for years. Because artists bought into that. See, what they did is, once they make you big, they know you're going to start ego tripping. And it allows them to go in for the robbery. Because suddenly you start thinking you something more than what you are. You know what I'm saying? And you start thinking you don't have to do certain things. I mean, and fans will excuse this kind of stuff while people are alive. The biggest enablers of people in show business who have a hard time is fans. Fandemonium. That's why they call them fans. Because fans will excuse all kind of shit. They'll have somebody come out on stage, cuss them out, and say they're allowed to have a bad day. I say, yeah, but that's about the 8th time they done cussed you out. Fans will excuse people not being liking them. They will excuse artists not speaking to them. They will excuse artists who don't speak to them but come out to only sell products. They will excuse artists not being grateful for some fans work on. I see some fans work on all kind of stuff for people and stuff but come in there and they just look at them. I mean, it's just it's like wow. Like to me personally, it's like if you're in customer service, you have to have a personality. You can't not be in customer service without person. I say the same thing for the music business. You cannot be in that kind of business without a personality. What's been happening today is they've been allowed, because show business carries fame and all these other things blind. The gift gets uplifted instead of the character. And people often ignore. That's why y'all having such a hard time with Jay-Z and Beyonce right now, which we getting ready to talk about these crazy ass shit they keep putting out. They so crazy. Y'all crazy. Jay-Z and Beyonce, y'all crazy as 5 fucks. Well, you need to sit the fuck down and sometimes just listen. Just shut the fuck. Quit. You must need the money. I mean, just getting on my nerves. Let's go to them. We ready to go to them. I'm tired of talking about gifts. Talking about gifts blinding people, okay? Talking about 2 people who just don't get it. But they fan base don't either. And they're going to enable them until there's something big coming out. And when the big thing comes out, here's the good thing. Here's the hard thing. This is the hardcore thing. I'm actually a friend. Here's the hard thing. When the big thing comes out, whatever it is it's going to take, I hope it doesn't for y'all's sake. Whatever's going to drag you down. Because they're going to want to drag you down. They love to lift you up to bring you down. whatever that thing that is gonna be. Y'all, it's gonna be hard for y'all. I mean, Beyonce, this hair thing about Jay-Z wearing, first of all, listen, some things ain't worth answering. I mean, some things is just like, you know what I'm saying? And the reason you got to do all this, let me tell you the reason why you got to do all this, because you really haven't created my personal opinion, she's a hype machine. It's a lot of hype surrounding Beyonce. Beyonce's a hyped celebrity. Most of them are. You know, all of them been hyped in some sort of way. But Beyonce, these celebrities, sometimes they're celebrities, even if they don't have as big as sales, or they don't have as big as this and that. Some of them have strong allegiance with their fan base because they're very connected to their fan base. That mean they talk to everybody and they know everybody, but they stay connected. There's a way they're personable to their fan base. They're friendly to their fan base. The reason these motherfuckers have to come out every 5 seconds and try to correct dumb shit is because they're not personable. And all they do is sell illusions all day. They sell you illusion. Beyonce hasn't been personable in years. Okay. This is enabling fan bases, enabling people, and just saying, "Oh, she's so great because of her talent. Oh, she can dance so good. She sings so great. Well, what do you say? What do you do?" Like, just come out and say, "See, how y'all doing today? Man, thank y'all for loving me the way y'all do." Nah, it's like when she get an award, the fake so it's only a certain time. Y'all gotta understand. That's why I say y'all getting energy. It's energy drainage going on, and fans are a great place for energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan, so I've been the one in those positions where you got an ungrateful, celebrity, and they. I tell you though, I tell you in your face. I tell Jay-Z and Beyonce in their face. I sure would. I'd be nice about it, but I tell you, I ain't biting my tongue. I'm cordial, but I'll let you know. And you have the right to come back at me. Listen, here's the thing. They have to do dumb stuff like this about answering these hair lock questions. This is not even a serious question. I wouldn't even come out even answer. You know, people who know hair know that you can unlock locks, okay? But Beyonce, the ridiculousness of you brushing Jay-Z's hair and I just in what I took down his hair, and the whole Blue Ivy fucking story is just fucking, I can't even believe. I just was sitting there like, God, my God, what is wrong with these people? And you have to answer such stupid stuff because you really you're not personable. You don't have a personable connection. So people kind of almost, your strong fan base really don't really know you. They just hype you. And they don't really have they don't really got to know you all your business, but they don't have a connection. They have a connection, but it's a weird connection. You know what I'm saying? It's not a one where they like, it's one where they got to always answer dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Celebrities often all do got to answer dumb stuff. And it's because a lot of them have not created strong fan bases, but also, and they're not personable. But even sometimes you're going to always, because if you're in the fame game, you're going to always have to answer questions about things. One answer, the beautician coming out about this should have been the fuck it. But not Jay-Z and Beyonce, because they so contrived, so made up. The people behind them are having a hard time. I understand. Listen, come here, Live Nation. Come here. Who else is out here? Disney say, bitch, I already gave my 70 million. I already lost it. Okay. Who else out here that invested in Jay-Z and Beyonce? Come here. We getting ready to have a come to Jesus meeting, okay? You invested way too much money. You know that, don't you? You did. And you mad now. You trying to keep selling them. You out here, you like, damn, wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute, get back out here. They don't believe the hair story. He did a bad interview with GQ. And now y'all talking about y'all dogging him. Oh, my Lord. Then he come out and he doing Target. And y'all don't understand that. Yeah. He's doing one bad publicity thing after another because he's showing who his true character. And they having a hard time. Because they didn't invest it. And not only that, the investors have been exposed in the Epstein files because the investors in the Epstein files was like, hey, Jay-Z, He's our guy. If we want to block the community from coming out and saying anything, I'm not the per quote, but this is sort of like what it was saying in there. If we want this guy to come, he comes out and he quiets that sector. Because y'all, you know why? You know why he's able to quiet that sector? Because y'all glorify a gift. I keep telling y'all stop glorifying people's gifts. Gifts are tremendous. Listen, gifts, like my spiritual mom said, gifts will bring you before great men. It is a beautiful thing. But gifts do not have anything to do with character. I told y'all the story. I love the story Juanita Bynum told one time. She told I was in an audience at Azusa. I think it was at Azusa one night, and Juanita Bynum was preaching. And Juanita told a story about her sister, who was a drug addict. She said out on the streets, a drug addict, but she said she was tremendously gifted in like healing and spirituality. At one time, I remember she was saying, I forget the preacher, it was a big time preacher who had a big school, Christian school there at that night. She said she even went to your school. She told her she pointed, and she said how she ended up on the streets doing drugs, everything. This same sister, I think, was on TBN after she had cleaned and stuff, talking about she almost got killed by a serial killer, all this stuff. It was very, very interesting life. But she's talking about how her sister was highly gifted, like just spiritually, as a spiritual person. But she got caught up on drugs, got caught up in the streets and everything like that. Finds out her son's sick. This stuff, I can't remember the whole story, but I remember it's a powerful story. She said she comes in to the house, cleans up, sits in the bathtub, cleans her body up and everything, because she's known to be, she can pray for you and get people get healed and all this stuff. She goes to the hospital, gets in the bed with her son, lays on top of her son, start praying for her son. She cleaned up, said, got out the bed, left and went right back to the streets. Her son was healed in that bed. And I remember Juanita Bynum said, don't you tell me about a gift. Your gifts are without repentance. God gives you gifts. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that's your character, because you're great at singing, or you great at acting, or you great at this and that. Those are things that gifts help you to understand what kind of character you need to build. So a lot of y'all will excuse a lot of stuff because a lot of y'all is just looking at somebody's gift, even if they're beautiful. Oh no, a fine face can be the gift. A beauty is a gift. That's a gift from God. Handsome, it's a gift from God. That's a gift. You're watching a gift in action. Lenny Kravitz isn't just a great singer. He's beautifully gifted. He's beautiful. His aesthetic is beautiful. He's a beautiful man. That's a gift. That all goes with the whole gift. That means you're a nice person. So y'all shocked. That's why Joyce Meyer had to say that quote, don't let your gift put you where your character can't keep you. Because y'all get shocked when these people ain't got no characters. So bring it back to Jay-Z and Beyonce, okay? Beyonce and Jay-Z, y'all gonna have to stop this. This is starting to get, you're starting to get, the thing is to just, sometimes you just need to sit down and just listen. Get outside the bubble and just be like, dang, what is happening right now? What is it that we not seeing? I've been so caught up in the bubble. Can be your fans, because your fans be hyping you. Fans a lot. Fans be like, you don't matter. It don't matter. You so great. It don't matter what you say. It don't matter what you do. It all works out. Whatever you say, but they're a lot. And even your you can't tell your fans no more, because your investors get bots and stuff probably out here lying on social media sites and stuff like that. But people just kind of laughed at you, Beyonce. That it was, the hair thing. It just was there was not it was not necessary to come out you combing Jay-Z's hair, telling the Blue Ivy story, talking about his daddy. He wears afro because his daddy. All that girl, y'all stop. He could have told that story on stage at the show, or that could have been a personable story. But because you guys are not personable and you don't know how to say, you really don't sell you really sell illusion. You don't sell personality. That's why they don't talk. These people probably don't talk because they're probably not their character. There are character issues there. They don't want to talk. They're scared. They really are scared that you will know, you will see them. Some of them just, are private, but some of them it's because they don't really, they publicists say, you might not say much. Don't talk too much.
Conditioning.
But y'all really are. Okay. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's getting Beyonce, the videos, the home videos and shit. I mean, it's just out of control because this is not normally anything that you guys would want to do. It just seems fake. It just, when you put it out, it doesn't seem believable. And this is your biggest problem. You're contrived. Everything about it is contrived, is made up. And you don't have to be. I love what Michelle Obama said, something about how she could. I love this about her. I respect this about her. What she said, and that was powerful. And I look beyond politics right there, because I said that's powerful what she said. She was talking about how she doesn't want what's happened to them, about the fame and being first, the first lady and all these things, to stop her from experiencing kind of people and life and things. And she tells her kids, even though they got to be protected because they've been presidents, they've had access, and they still get access to a lot of secret things, right? So the Secret Service watches them for the rest of their life. But she's saying, even with all that, I try not to be closed, allow for new people and new things to come into my life. Trust my sense of who I am, my discernment, that it's going to see you. Ooh, she didn't say that, but that's what she was saying. That's what I called her. She was saying that I trust myself enough to stay open. I love that. Now, I think Michelle's the one to stay open. I don't know about Barack, but Michelle, definitely, I believe that. I believe that about her. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell y'all the secret weapon for Barack during them presidential campaigns. Nobody gave a speech better than Michelle. Michelle was the girl, okay? Michelle can do them speeches, honey. Michelle's Michelle's the deal. Michelle, Barack will be in the room, you're like, okay. But Michelle get up there and talk, you be like, all right, he might be all right. All right, but so that's because but these people are not open. They just show up when they need to sell you a story. So now they've been getting their asses dragged all through social media for the last 10 years. First they calling you witches, energy witches, and occultists, and demon. You didn't feel no need to clear up them. You throwing up them 6 signs. I ain't see you ain't cleared up that shit. Ain't felt no need to clear up if you throwing up 6 sixes and all that stuff, which is interesting because you're supposed to be spiritual. But you ain't felt no need to clear up. I'm not no witch. This is what we go to this lady for. This is blah blah blah. But you come out and clear up this about this man's hair. This is how the fuck crazy they are. This is why I don't pay no attention to Jay-Z and Beyonce. This is stupid. And it's funny. It's funny as hell. And I'm like, Blue, I hope you're getting extra checks because they use you whenever they fucked up. I used to really appreciate the way Beyonce and Jay-Z was moving with Blue. But now I'm starting to be like, y'all might be doing too much. I might be using her too much. Okay. Because I'm starting not to buy y'all. This right here was a lot for me. Okay. Beyonce says, and they sent it out to all these blogs probably. She said vlogged and narrated at Jay-Z's sacred journey for his Philly concert, combing out his wigs. into an afro. Okay. You can see the full video of Sacred. Y'all can see.
Hey, let's go.
I blow dried his hair, trimmed his ends.
Got that Indian in my family.
He does.
Cherokee. There ain't nothing but no Cherokee.
It was always beautiful that the real reason Jay grew out his hair was to show Blue that her hair was like his hair. Let me rewind and tell you some backstory.
Help us, Jesus.
Our daughter was about 5, and she wasn't feeling very confident about her hair at that time. When she told her father that, it inspired Jay to grow out his hair. We really wanted her to love and embrace every inch of her gorgeous curls. It also inspired Blue to be the voice of the award-winning book, Hair Love,
by Matthew A. Cherry,
as well as songs like Formation, Baby Hair and Afros, and Brown Skin Girl.
Beyonce narrating does not help, but let's continue.
All of this healthy hair could grow beyond that low-cut Caesar with the deep waves.
What you doing, Blue?
I'm tangling his hair.
Thank you, baby.
This is history in the making.
The 5-year-old Blue had no idea that I think the key ingredients are patience and love. When it got
That's all I need to hear. That's all y'all need to hear. Beyonce combing, Jay-Z cutting and trimming. Even if it was true, I don't believe you. That's how bad it is. That's how bad. And you know how bad it is, Beyonce, because you could have simply came on and been on a video with Jay-Z, just y'all having a talk. Me like, this is locks, y'all. I cut and trim his hair, but no, bitch, you gotta have a whole fucking speech. And Blue gave the award winning, and you ain't good at speeches. Blue gave the award winning good hair, and the low cut Caesar with the deep waves. What? You gotta give a speech. Like it is nothing natural. It's all speech. It's like the public said, okay, they're talking about Jay-Z's hair a lot. I mean, people really think this is a wig. I mean, you guys have got to address it. No, you don't have to address that you're witches and demons, but you do gotta address that hair. You don't gotta address that you're Epstein, that Epstein's boys were saying that Jay-Z is a complete sellout, but you don't have to address what happened in Brooklyn. But listen, because Sacred is managed to get in Ulta. Was it Ulta Beauty? I don't know which one it's Sephora or Ulta. Shit, and it looked like it's kind of doing okay. We need you guys to give a speech. You know, we don't want that out here. They are so slow. You're slow over there. Slow. I try. I've been trying. And the fans are slow. You slow fans. You slow. It's okay. Some people tell the truth saying, Beyonce B, don't give no speeches. No, you didn't need to do that. All you need to do is show up with your husband. Why you didn't fucking put that out? That would have been a good idea to put that out last week. I mean, a couple of weeks ago before his concert. See, that's why y'all know what the fuck you doing. It would have been in your I fired. I'm not going to say it. It would have been cute if you would have put that out before his concert, you combing his hair and brushing his hair, him to my Cherokee and all that stuff. That would have been cute before any drama happened. People would have loved to see that. But you know why? You didn't put it out because y'all not natural. You full of shit. And you put it out, you put everything out in wrong time and everything. And your fans, because they enablers, they'll go ahead and say, oh, you know what? This is kind of cute. And they so impressed by your gift that they'll do that. But I'm like, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. This would have just been cute to put out, Beyonce. This would have just been, Yvette, who's their publicist? Come here. Who is it? Yvette, whatever your name is. Listen here. Okay. This should have been put out before the thing. Well, we didn't, and they wanted to remain private. No, the motherfuckers remain private about the wrong things. Okay. They don't want to remain private when when people out here talking about Jay-Z's hair is fake. So now they won't feel like they need to address some shit. No, this would have just been a cute thing to put out to just say, show we a cute couple. We a natural couple. I wouldn't even put out the speech now. Beyonce, no, but it would have been cute to put out Beyonce combing Jay's hair, clipping the hair. Then it would have been more believable. But putting it up after people would have said his hair is fake is just reinforcing people's narrative about the hair being fake. People like, what the fuck? Beyonce ain't cutting his hair. Because y'all put shit out to just, y'all feel like you feel like you owe nothing to people. You mad because you really got to say something to people, right? And so you just put out some bullshit saying my fans will take it. But I'm telling y'all now, y'all are almost at that time. The end game is almost here, okay? This is dumb. These are things that you should just be putting out naturally to show people I'm human. I'm not a robot. This speech did not help me not think you weren't a robot. I think they did they wind her up again. It's something in your back. They just start winding. You go back there and just start winding up. Put in the AI Beyonce. Here's what you say, Beyonce. Yes, I will record. I will say, talk about brushing Jay's hair and blue. It's just what is going on with these people? Oh God, I can't stand it. This is the worst. No more of this, okay? Just start learning how to be natural. Show cute little parts of your day, Beyonce. I think your fans will pass out. They probably pass out in the street. They so used to fake stuff, they don't know what's real. They be like, what? Say hi, Beyonce. How y'all doing? How y'all with you? They probably passed out if she was even speaking because you don't speak. You mute. You usually a mute. I thought she was a mute. I was like, oh, she talks. There she is. They wound her up again. I'm your friend. I'm not the enemy here. The enemy are people who are putting these things out afterwards. Just not tell y'all the truth. Blue and the reason he grew his hair out is because you expect me to believe that. I don't believe that bullshit at all. I wanna. But you guys don't ever put out, there's no context to this. There's nothing to your person. Only your fans are enablers. So they will sit there and be like, yeah, see, this one Blue had an afro and y'all was talking about Blue. They'll start making up stuff, right? But Beyonce and Jay-Z has given you no point of references about their lives. They don't even give interviews. These bitches don't only give interviews and shit when they got stuff to say, okay? So I don't even know how y'all can even really know, like look at some of this stuff and be like, oh. Let me stop laughing at her. I'm gonna stop laughing. I'm sorry, Miss Tina. Somebody know Miss Tina. Tell Miss Tina I'm sorry. Miss Tina, I'm just trying to help. I'm out here trying to help. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be the friend. I know it seems like I'm an enemy, but I'm a friend. I'm telling y'all, I've been telling y'all the truth. You did not need this video. This video should have been put out right that day. If Beyonce, you really combed his hair right before the Roots picnic, that would have been cute to be put out right before his show. Like the fuck y'all couple. It would have been cute. I don't want to take anything from Jay-Z. Bitch, y'all put everything together. Don't y'all sell packages? Jay-Z sell you as a package deal and you sell him something. Stop it. Okay. It would have been so cute us seeing that beforehand instead of y'all using this video with your bad Beyonce. Just don't give speeches. With the bad speech. Because you know what it is, what happens with Beyonce. It's not the Beyonce. I'm not talking about her speaking voice. It's not really that. It's not really that. It's really that Beyonce sounds like she don't believe half the shit she's saying. She like, Blue and Regan and I got to come and love. It seems like you're selling us something. It don't see. It sound like you don't even believe it. You sit out there like, I don't even. What I gotta say? Like they just wind you up and say, Beyonce, today you have to talk. Yes. What do I have to say? They think Jay-Z's hair is fake. You have to say that you combed Jay-Z's hair and you untangled locks. And okay, please insert speech inside. Okay. I will now repeat what I need to make them believe that Jay-Z's hair is not fake. Oh, I'm going to dance. Oh, I'm going to this. Okay, this video.
Let's go.
I blow dried his hair, trimmed his ends.
Got the Indian in my family.
He does.
Cherokee. Ain't nothing but no Cherokee.
It was always beautiful that the real reason Jay grew out his hair was to show Blue that her hair was like his hair.
Blue should be getting royalties, a constant check.
So let me rewind and tell you some backstory.
Oh God!
Our daughter
Don't
was about
Don't
5.
tell us no backstory. That's the problem. This should have just been a natural release. You just not the whole backstory. We need all this other stuff. This is when that should have been released. Let me comb his hair. People was already, Jay-Z, here's the thing. This is why your people ain't catching it. And they kind of slow too. Listen. People was out here for the longest saying your hair was fake. You knew that. Y'all knew y'all had this video, allegedly. This video, supposedly, of Beyonce cutting his hair and everything before the roots thing. Why not just release that ahead of time? Showing Beyonce, it might have died down some of the stuff people saying. People still gonna say what they say, but that would have died down. But your publicists and all them people missed it. Hey, they put out they don't come to save y'all until y'all in trouble, and that's what they tell them to do in celebrity. But the problem is with you and Jay try to sell narratives that no one believes because you guys are not you're not connected. You're famous, but you're not connected. So you really don't know how bad it's gotten for y'all out in these streets. And it's just hilarious what y'all choose to confront. Like, it's hilarious that Beyonce's doing a whole fucking speech about Jay-Z's hair and Blue Ivy and everybody else instead of saving the legacy of what he did in Brooklyn. Like, what the speech, bitch, what is the speech for Brooklyn? What he did, the gentrification and all that shit. Okay, this don't even make no sense what y'all confronting. I'm almost starting to think it was a wig because there's too much dumb stuff happening. I'm done. Y'all think I ain't no friend to the choir. I'm a friend. I said what I said. I'm a friend. I might not say it nice, but I'm a friend. I tell you the truth. I'm trying to tell you the truth. I'm trying to give you some help. I'm trying to tell you it's stupid to release this right now. It's stupid what y'all could choose to confront and what you choose not to. And the enablers, your fan of the B Swarm and I don't know what Jay-Z got, but they allowed to happen. I don't even know if there's a swarm anymore. Is there? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Connect to your fans. Where's this girl? Let me find this girl who said this. I thought this was really good. I need to bring this up. Hold on. If I can find it. Okay, I think this is it. Let me see if I found this so y'all can see it. Okay, love this. This is from JaneLee.music. Okay, JaneLee.music on Instagram. Okay, I'm just going to play a little bit of what she said. Maybe, I don't know if I can play a little bit. Fair use for all the videos we use. We just use it for educational purpose and to talk about these things that are happening in the news and educate our listeners. I want to just play JingLee.music. Go to her on Instagram, follow her. She is worth a follow. She is, and I love what she talks about. Okay. But she's talking about what is a super fan and why. Just listen to her on this. I thought this was so good. Hold on, let's see. Okay, y'all. Okay.
A super fan is different in a way that a lot of people don't know exactly how to explain what it is until you've experienced it. Your music becomes a part of how they see themselves. Your music is in their personality now. Once you get that, that's when you understand how the money thing works. Nobody really pays for music anymore. It's basically free and there's an ocean of it. But people will absolutely pay to belong to something. According to Luminate, 15 to 20% of listeners are super fans and roughly 80% more a month than everybody else. In the Goldman Sachs report, it's a $4.5 billion gap. So I know you've heard the 1,000 true fans, basically 1,000 people who really love you, spending $100 a year on you, shows, on merch, on whatever. That's $100 grand. You don't need to blow up. You need 1,000 people that don't want to see you quit doing music. You need to carefully watch what these people are willing to do. They will buy the vinyl before they stream the album, not the physical thing, because owning something and touching something in their hands, it means something to them. They find the group chats, the discords, the comment section, and they bring people in naturally, constantly, because showing you off means something about them.
I love this. I love what she's saying, and you guys can hear most of the rest of it. It's not that much, but definitely go to JingLee.music. Okay. This is right. Me being I say this is what I said about Maxwell's cruise. Okay. I don't know if anybody's listening or not. But this is what I said about Matt. This is why I said his cruise. I did not like his cruise in terms of, I loved his cruise in terms of people, the people on the cruise. I loved my set of crew of wonderful women I meet from the Maxwell situation and everything like that. However, the Maxwell experience was not there. I said that. Did you know what I'm saying? It was just not there. It was just not there. It was 2 concerts. He gave 2 shows. And see, to me, like fan enablers will say, it's okay. It's as long as you're getting 2 shows. But eventually people will get tired of it, because the truth of the matter, if people spend that much money for a cruise, I expect to see you a lot, because I'm a Maxwell fan, right? Yes, I come to see the other artists, but I can see other artists any fucking where. I can go to Essendon, I can go all kind of places. I can see other artists, okay? But I come there for the Maxwell experience. What does Maxwell think of these artists that he's brought on the cruise? What does Maxwell? I expect to see Maxwell interacting, moving about, and yes, he did a meet and greet. Yeah, okay, I get that. But I expect him to have an excursion, or you know what I'm saying? It's something that makes it exclusively, this is his party, and you know it's his party. Because those are things that super fans look for, right? And like a lot of these fans though in show business will enable you for a little while until you do something really bad, and then they'll drop you off. Then they be saying, see, I always knew he wasn't shit. But they ain't telling you when you wasn't shit for real. Like I said, that cruise was not shit in terms of Maxwell. Maxwell should have been more active in that cruise. I said that because I had already heard that. People were already telling me before I went on that cruise, they were saying he was not really a factor. He was just there for 2 concerts. He was not a factor. And that should not be so when that's your party. I don't give a fuck what's going on. And I done heard all kind of excuses. He had sickness. He had now you can't give me no, I'm good. No. They said he was sick 3 times. I don't heard people say he's sick 3 times. No offense. I'll talk about my favorite now. I don't give a shit. Okay. If I like you, I'm telling you the truth. I'm your friend. I ain't gonna lie to you. Listen here. I said every time I heard that he wasn't showing up, and people said he was sick. I heard that excuse the last 3 years. Y'all gotta stop with the sick stuff. Okay, shit. Okay, got time for this. And here we are again. Like, listen, let me tell you another thing about. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna talk about my own favorite. Can I use him as an example? Oh, this might not be good. Okay, let me just say this. For instance, he has people are they. There's a website right now where people have for his whole cruise. Like people come on, and people are wanting to know information about the cruise. Right, like when, like shit, like his ass. Let me just say this: a couple of things. I've said it before about Maxwell's cruise. Maxwell didn't put anything. I don't know how other artists are really. I'd be feeling a funky kind of way that your ass didn't have my videos and stuff up on your Instagram showing that I was on your cruise. That's good publicity for me. Like even though you paying me and everything to show up on your cruise, I'm also helping you. So, like, to me, Maxwell should have had all kind of stuff up about the cruise, like little things. You ain't got to put everything up, but little clips and stuff, making people excited, like, oh, I might want to go to that. But some people, this is my personal opinion. This is how I'm seeing it and how I'm reading it, okay? I think I'm the shit, and you motherfuckers is going to come anyway. So I ain't got to do none of that shit. Wow. That's how I see it, okay? So I feel like that is just like the most, I see it as like, I don't like that. I be paying attention. I peep game. Okay. So like, I'd be like, oh, okay. I might do it one more time, but that might be it. Like, I may not do it again. I might cut when I start seeing that kind of shit, I don't like it because I think your people should be on it. Even if you can't be, you can be off vacation and wherever the fuck you want to be. Like this, he vacate, give him a chance. He ain't his fucking team, but he got a whole team that could be like, you guys, we're working on the cruise right now, and the cruise will be happening. We're just working on some things to let you guys know, but we want to let you know that we're working on it. Because there's a lot of other cruises popping up. Like, don't take people for granted. Don't take your super fans for granted. I say that even about my favorite. They taking that for granted. They taking it for granted. Like when you started 2 years ago, it wasn't hard to know that meant it wasn't but Tom Joyner. Now it's about 4-5 people out here trying to have. They got a Jamaican cruise. Shit, they got all kind of shit they have. Soul Train cruise, all kind of shit they've been going on. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, your people should be on it. I mean, if you having a cruise, maybe you ain't having no cruise. I don't know. But you should be on it. Okay. And the fans be making all kind of excuses. I was looking at the comment section and why he ain't put out. They ain't put out. I said there's no excuse. He just because they speak from a personal space because they feel like they know him. Because he seems like a nice guy, but I don't buy. Your actions speak louder than any fucking thing to me. I peep action. Okay, I don't give a shit. I ain't trying to figure you out. My ass is like, what the hell is like? What's the problem here? Like, is it y'all having a cruise or not? Well, you good. It just seemed like I know y'all gonna be there when I'm ready. I love it. Shush. Celebrities crack me up. They funny to me. They funny. Y'all just gonna be there when I'm ready. Everybody like the females that I went to on the cruise. I boycott your ass. I'll shit. I don't give a shit. Listen, here's the thing. I find that horrible. I find it horrible customer service. I find it people have to sit out here and dissect if you gonna have a cruise or not. I mean, but here's the thing about Maxwell. Maxwell got the Cinderella ball. Even though it's a low key Cinderella. It was a lot of couples though, but it was low key. It could be low key Cinderella ball because he's a good looking man. So people excuse a lot of shit, but I don't. I be like, listen, why your people ain't out? You ain't got to be out, but your people should be putting up there. The crew. We will be announcing on your website the cruise soon. That's just the bad things that you don't when you're ignoring. That's why she said, I love Jane Lee talking about understanding your super fans and what these people will do and tracking them and not taking that for granted. understanding like, wow, I got a base that will travel with me and go to see me from city to city. What can I do for them to keep them? What can I do? Should we do contests? Should we do this every now and then? Should we do that? These motherfuckers, they ain't got to be creative because you know what? They know you're going to keep coming. And eventually, though, when it goes down and they don't, then they'll be begging. Then they'll be doing, can you come out and do this? And the reason that a lot of y'all have to give away tickets and stuff because you don't do anything creative. You don't have enough super fans, right? You are not doing anything creative to make sure that you get these fans on board and keep them. You're running a business. It's like running a business and nobody, like nobody, like I come, the business supposed to open up at a certain time and I'm still here like, dang, what time? I used to have an ex-boyfriend. They had a little record thing and people, they used to show up late at the thing because they used to sell all these, they used to sell all these little interesting different things because they, different stuff because they was from the East Coast and stuff. Them motherfuckers show up. The store was supposed to open at 8. This was back in the 90s. Them motherfuckers show up at 12. I'd be like, who the fuck is standing out here waiting for y'all at 12 o'clock? What bad customer service. This is what artists do to me when they don't have a constant thing to their fans in this day and age, in the age of streaming. You're dumb. I said what I said. Okay. Well, how? What? What are you doing? It makes no sense to me. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So she is right. I'm going to pay her something what she said, but I love what she said.
They're not really fans at this point. They are your marketing department. They are your advocates. How do you make more super fans? Honestly, I don't think it's as complicated as we all think it is. Let them see you, the real version of you. Be clear about who you are, what your music is, and who it's for. Give them a place to gather. And especially this, the ones who showed up early, make a big deal out of them because in fact, it is a big deal. A lot of us, we have a problem celebrating our first few fans because we feel like we still haven't.
Let me tell you this. I'm not, my podcast ain't all that, but I had a person from just last week who used to do drops and who would listen to our show on Saturday when we used to have it on. We used to do a show on Blog Talk years ago. Now I just do it for fun, but when we used to do it back like it was a real serious venture back in the day. We did it on Blog Talk. And I did it on Blog Talk for years afterwards, but we used to have a whole crew. It was a whole crew for this show. And I am friends to this day with some of the people that used to listen to us all the time, even some of the Michael Jackson fans. Like we are still friends. They still write me, hi, how you doing? And you know why? Because I always would make them feel special. I would always write them afterwards. If they wrote me, I'd make sure I write them back. I mean, when I had time, everybody I could, the group that I kept, and it was the first few group, the first like 20 people. They support the show all the time, every week. They was like, and some of the listeners, two of the listeners became part of our crew. They naturally worked into the crew on the show where they were on there listen, and we had a big fan base at that time. So I totally am agreement with this. You cannot be ignoring the people. Like you have to be personable. You have to be great at customer service. You can't in the age of streaming, you can't ignore your fan base. Even when you're off, you're not off. Your people shouldn't be off. It should be somebody running your website. It should not be, you got a whole, let me talk about Maxwell for a second. That's what you got a whole group of people who got a website, who had to start a website about your cruise. And they on there and they constantly talking about when the cruise is coming. Like, when is it? They done heard it was in April. They in Kyle Rose tours 150,000 times. They said it was in April. They say it's coming this and that. They say it's this and that. And these fans are keeping it out here. Not your monkey ass. Where is you? Where is your people putting a sign or something out there that says, hey, you guys, I see you guys talking. Hey, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't even like when fans put up happy birthdays and they don't even come back and say, I hate that. I'd be like, listen here, somebody, you can put a generic motherfucking thank you, okay? Generic thank y'all, even if didn't nobody say nothing but today. Generic thank you. But fans, one thing about celebrities fans, they tend to make excuses for years until it's, then when it all gets really bad, then they'll fall on it. But for a while, they'll make excuses. They'll be like, well, the reason they can't, they didn't, he hasn't put anything out about the cruise is because the movie is out. The fucking movie probably wrapped about 3 months ago. Well, the reason Night, we've been waiting 100 years for Night because the cosmos isn't right for him. It just, I can't stand it. Okay, it's just me. Okay, shit. But I love the idea of creating super fans, respecting and honoring your fans. And that doesn't have to be that's why you have a team. Even with people, like I even say, listen, I'm a shout out. No, I'm about to say some stuff. I'm gonna put it incognito. Okay, it's a fan group right now, fan base right now. I know they be promoting the person's band. Okay. The fan base will do it. If they got something going on, the fan base is the fan base is on there. They about their shit. Is the motherfucker though the person whose band it is promoting anybody? Hell no. I'm like, what kind of shit is that? Like, if you see a member of your team, because the member of your team, they help keep the publicity about you out. The fuck, even your band members, even your little funky ass side that you think it's your side, them people help create you. You should be putting up stuff about. And this artist doesn't. They just be like, I'm in La La Land. The team, I'm like, what's your team doing? Don't you got an internet person? The internet person don't say, hey, this such and such person, and hey, from our band, you see over there, they doing this right now. Hey, support, love. What? Who's running the fucking internet? I'm tired. This is bad business practices. This is just bad customer service. Just facts. It is. It's bad customer service. And it's partly why Hollywood, the music business, and everything is finding itself in these type of things, because you have to reinvent yourself. And you can't afford anymore to leave out customer service. You can't afford to let the enabler fans just tell you that everything is good when it's really not. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Jane Lee music. She is right. Creating super fans, understanding those super fans, tracking them, understanding why they come to your shows, understanding who, giving them a place to get. I love that. She's really right on that. She's great. I thought that was great.
You need to know their names. You need to thank them. You need to DM them. You need to treat them like they're special, because they are. These are the people who want to be there first. And if you let them have that and bask in that, they never leave.
And if you got a team that's doing anything less, then I don't know. If you can't afford to pay, let me just say this. This is so stupid. Let me tell these people this, okay? Listen. There are artists, let me say this, what she's talking about with the super fan. I love this. I don't know who be listening to this show, you never know. If it's an artist out there that's listening to this show, what Jane Lee is saying about the super fan is so true. There are people right now who have your pictures up and who are posting something about you today as an artist. There are people who get the information of your concert first and put it out there. I even got people on my Maxwell thing. They be putting out, Maxwell may have a show and this, but he may do this. Blah, blah. These are your, like she said, it is your free marketing fucking team. It's a free marketing team. If you pay it, even if your business is bad right now, you like, damn, I'm having a hard time. I can't really pay no internet person. I can't pay no marketing stuff because they streaming my shit. I ain't making as much money as I used to and all this stuff like that. Go to the fan base. They will put that shit out for free. Them motherfuckers will do it for free. Okay. Started to say, hey, I just wanted to let you know first as a fan, my first 5 fans, hey, I'm getting ready to do this, blah, 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 blah. That motherfuckers will do it for free. Are you serious? so unbelievable. I can't believe it's so sad. But I don't listen. If you're not investing in your understanding who your super fan is, if you're not investing in a team that understands that, you're wasting time. I don't even know what you're doing anymore. I really don't. It's really hard. It's gonna take you, like people were talking about just this week. I heard the people talking about Lizzo selling 3,000 albums. Nobody's selling albums right now. It's really just, I hated they just pointed that out about her. But listen, this is the age where you're gonna have to stretch. This is the age where I keep trying to say it's the age of Aquarius. If you don't understand what that means, what the symbol of Aquarius means, how Aquarius is a philanthropic sign. I said, look to no more than Oprah Winfrey and how Oprah moves a little bit, not the crazy stuff, but the giving, the this and that, how she saw herself. You see what I played a couple of weeks ago. Oprah said, the reason I'm able to deal with the fame and the blah, 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 and all of these things and blah, it's because I see myself not as a celebrity, not as this and that, but I see myself as a servant. Such Aquarius shit. That's Aquarius. Aquarius at its highest. Right? But that's an Aquarius. You have to see yourself as a servant. Not no big ass star. And that's why, even though Oprah's probably one of the biggest ass stars on the planet, and probably just unrelatable in a lot of dumb ass ways and stuff like that. There's certain things I think she needs to do better too. I would say for her to do better. But and there's a lot of ways I can criticize Oprah. Okay, listen, it's a lot. But one of the things Oprah can do, if I met Oprah today, I'm gonna tell you something about Oprah. I bet Oprah would make me feel like I'm the only person in the room. Oh my God, how long have you been? So you do that too? Listen, I just talked to Oprah one time a couple of times on social media, 2 or 3 times on social media. I was telling her about how my mama used to call me. I had me a good friend, and she used to call us the broke Gail and Oprah. And she laughed. She said, LOL at that one or whatever. And then one time I was talking to her about OWN, and she was talking about how long it took OWN to get off. And she wrote me back, and I said, well, I probably, at first I wasn't, I was thinking it was kind of this and that. But she said, then I started, really watching and supporting it. And she wrote me back. She said, I'll make sure it'd be easier on you. She was trying to be smart. I don't know if she tried to be smart. And I said she's being prophetic. I'll make sure I'll be easier on you when you get your own network. Listen, because she's personable. Oprah is so fucking personable. Oprah will make you think, oh, did I say? I think I remember that. Even if that bitch don't remember that, she don't act like she remember. Oprah is a personality, okay? Oprah gives, that's what a celebrity, that's what you should be as a celebrity. If you understand that Oprah's team works over, they don't have to, they were down there in the podcast field and stuff like that. But Oprah's team used to work overtime for Oprah. Listen, you look at Oprah's show, the old Oprah show. What was Oprah doing? Giving away shit. Reading books, telling you about everything. That's why I say nobody beats Oprah being Oprah. But she'd be like, oh, I read this wonderful book. This book, in my own life, Oprah does nothing but sell herself. This is Aquarius. She's an Aquarius. Not all Aquariuses get it. Don't tell me Alicia Keys. No, I'm not talking about Alicia Keys. I'm talking about Oprah, the ultimate Aquarius. Okay, I love that's how you should has artists today look to Oprah to how to move among somewhat, not all the way, because Oprah's got some mistakes there, but to move among your fan base, how she's personable, how she gets it, how when her fans are in the room, they probably the only people in that room to her. She finds something personable to stick on. Oh, you know what? I bet as you walk in, Oprah, you got some cute shoes. I was, oh, I love those shoes. Where did you get those? Even though she probably not gonna buy no shoes. They used to tell us that to me. They tell us that when I was selling Mary Kay back in the day. They used to tell you, find something. You want to find you a customer when you in the store, and they used to work too. You in the store, you see somebody and they got on a cute outfit. You be like, oh, I love your outfit. You look so cute. Oh my goodness, what kind of makeup are you wearing? You know what I sell? Blah blah blah. Here, give me this. You know, and they so smitten with the compliments and stuff. When you call them, they be saying, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, shoot, yeah, we can do a thing. I used to get so many customers that way. I'm just trying to tell people you got to be in order to sell products and sell things. You can't just put them out there half-assed. I had so many fans telling me about on the cruise how horrible them shirts and stuff was. Maxwell, I'm trying to tell you the truth. Somebody know Maxwell tell them. They was talking about how horrible because it was a half-assed effort. Maxwell, you should have a store on that cruise. You should be talking to Norwegian and making sure there's a store on that cruise just for the artists, for you, a main part for you, and other artists who are going to be on that cruise where they can sell their products in a storefront or make a storefront. You sell a lot more, and don't go cheap on your shit. I mean, even if you got to do 2 or 3 products of something, don't go cheap. And then there was nothing about the cruise. There was nothing, no shirts for the cruise, nothing. I mean, awesome. It to me, what it spoke volumes to me is that he don't give a fuck about that cruise. That's what it spoke to me about. I don't know what it spoke to y'all. I just said, hey, I came to have a good time because there was some great fans on there. I met some great people. It was a good time. Okay, and Maxwell did, the shows was excellent. He did good in a couple of years, but I wouldn't, it wasn't. Was it the Maxwell cruise? No, it was a cruise that he performed that twice. But no, yeah, he was not. It's not signature to him, and it seemed like a half-ass effort. That's why I just say for when you have fans that are willing to get out in the middle of in the sea on a little ass boat and be with you, make this an experience, and don't keep them waiting. I say that with all due respect. And I say that too, also to other artists. You have to start, you can't half-ass effort do things. These record companies are not putting the money behind you like they used to. So now you might have to put the money behind your own team. Here's one thing I think artists kind of maybe not understand how the record companies now. Sometimes I understand the need for the record company because a lot of the artists they're sometimes caught up in the creative process and they really don't understand about entrepreneurship, selling product, selling all kind of things they learn as they get in. And a lot of these artists have had record companies who've charged them out the wazoo, cheated them in everything because of simple things like they didn't practice having a marketing team, their own marketing. They depended on the record company to have the marketing team. They depended on the record company to put out this or put out that. You have to do that yourself nowadays. If the record company's not behind you, get your own team together. Get these super fans. Get a team of your one of the greatest super fan group thing is New Edition's super fan, Any Forever. Oh my God, they Any for life. They will go around. Listen, they keep New Edition out there. That's what you have to. That's what it has to be. It has to be a constant pushing of the guard. You know what I'm saying? It has to be understanding that super fan base. And New Edition would be stupid not to understand them. Not to say it seems like they really get them though. You know what I'm saying? I even heard the Emmy for Lifers. I think even got them the star on the Walk of Fame. Now I heard a story about somebody, and I'm gonna talk about it in 5 seconds. Okay, I talk about their asses. I ain't gonna tell the name. But I heard about an artist how people were trying to get him a star on the Walk of Fame, and people were saying, well, they don't want to do that right now. Now this artist ain't got no new music, got no new nothing. I was like, who the fuck? What? Why? They don't want to what? They need all the publicity right now they can get. Like, and it was fans who was willing to do the work. You know what I'm saying? And usually a record company will come behind, or they'll have some other people, some of their people get on board to help these fans do something like this. But this person just said they wouldn't. These people say they team said they weren't interested. I found that crazy. I was like, really? Like, no get back, not understanding how a fan base reached out to say, we want to do this for an artist. Oh my God, it's scary what's out here with you artists. I don't know. I don't think a lot of y'all don't have the right teams and stuff like that. So you don't understand this concept of super fans and how they can help you build your career or rebuild your career. But I digress, okay? So, okay, why did I always, I always forget to turn off the phone, right? What do I be doing on this show, okay? All right, so we got a couple more things to talk about here. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a break real quick, and I'm going to come right back, and we'll talk about the second half of what we're going to talk about. Okay. What do we need to talk about? Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about we're gonna talk about, I saw Vic Mensa on something and I thought what he said was interesting. So we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about the South African situation and what's going on with their migrant crisis, and a lot more when I get back here on the Carlotta Chatwood Show. Okay. All right, y'all give me a second. I'll be back in a moment. All right. right, you guys, we are back on the Carlotta Chat with Show. Okay, so before I left, we were talking about, I said I wanted to talk about Vic Mensa, and I heard him on a show. Yeah. Talking about Black Americans versus Black Africans and stuff. He had something, it was an interesting thing what he had to say here. This is from Kaya _ Chan _ 11. So take a listen to this.
Is the idea that Africans, you guys sold your own, you sold us into slavery. And this is a common point of contention. When I was studying, this book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney, he illustrates so clearly the way that the Europeans stifled every mode of legitimate trade so that African states, nations, empires were left with only the option to deal in the most corrupt trade, to deal in slaves. So certain like Dahomey kings sent emissaries to Portugal to request that the trade in slaves end and that they change to legitimate trade in goods. And Portugal was like, fuck no. We're cutting off all land routes. You can no longer, you can't trade with your neighbors. We have superior naval capabilities. We're cutting off the sea. You can't trade by sea. The only option we're going to leave you is that you trade in slaves. And the system of slavery which is the system of corruption that was brought to the continent, so wide reaching, and it was so pervasive and all encompassing that no single African state really had the agency to fully reject the system of slavery. So you end up in this place where, all your options have been exhausted, and you're forced into slavery. But then it's so insidious because it leaves the idea, even amongst yourself and your progeny and your descendants, that you were the source of the corruption that led to your current state of destitution. But really, it's still the puppet master. It's still the French National Corporation that's trading arms with the rebel group that's fighting back against Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traore. It's still like a shadowy puppet master for sure that's funding all of the shit. But they want us to believe that Africa is so corrupt so that we think we're the source of our suffering.
No, Africa did one of the most corrupt things you could do, one of the most things that people could disrespect. And Vic, when you're talking about the slave trade, I'm sure you're talking you're talking about colonization and the Dahomey tribe. I know you're not talking. I think you might want to read a little bit more on the Dahomey tribe, okay? Listen, let me just say this, Big Mensa. I used to do this making excuses for Africa. What Africa did was hideous. You know what Africa earned? Let me just say this. Not that the Europeans weren't hideous, but the Europeans saw something even more hideous than them. Africans willing to trade other African countries in. Now, if you know anything about the Europeans and their history, even if you just watch Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, you will learn they are strategists. And they probably looked at these people and say, wow, they are hurting themselves. What you're talking about happened after the slave trade. They weren't forced to sell it. They weren't forced. They made a deal with the devil. And when you make a deal with the devil, it's never good. It's good at first. The devil brings you all kind of cute little shiny stuff. Here's some little red cloth. Oh, you need some other stuff for your food and everything. We got that too. You need some gunpowder. But who are you? You're giving us humans. You're giving us strong humans smart humans. You're giving us some of your, and it's not, I hate when you say African state, they're countries. I know what you mean, but make sure we say countries because we make it countries. You're giving us your top of the line for a little bit of nothing. We're trading with you for a little bit of nothing. After a while, I see why the Europeans said, these motherfuckers, we can just come over here and start taking that shit, colonizing it and saying it's ours, sitting our flag on it. They gave us their best people. Look over here at America. How America, that little island, building the fuck up with them that crop they got. No, Vic. It is Africa's fault. Africa has to take responsibility for its own fault. If you keep saying, well, it's not really that they ain't corrupt, the Europeans is corrupt, and so they just as corrupt, why they ain't getting that? No, because it ain't about the Europeans, it's about your character. It's about your corruption. Well, I just want to be just like the Europeans. The Europeans is corrupt, so I'm going to be corrupt too. Why can't we be corrupt? Because you can't. They gave away in the slave trade. Look at all the people they gave away from Jamaica, diaspora, the diaspora. We some strong ones. You for Jamaica, you got Haiti, you got all these. Especially look at what they gave away. Who would respect them? Who wouldn't think of colonization? Shit, I would have. Oh God. And this isn't that I hate Africa, the continent of Africa. No, I just want people to be able to take some responsibility without trying to sell off a narrative. Quit trying to make it that he was just the white man, that partner. No, the Africans made a deal with the devil due to their tribalism, due to their division, due to them not understanding strategy, being a warrior, forever warrior, but not understanding strategy. One only has to look at the war with Shaka Zulu to understand that, not understanding strategy. And that's what will happen to nations. Nations will be conquered by other nations when they see weaknesses. People, even today, people pounce on weakness. So Vic, shut up. And Vic is, of course, saying this because I think Vic's father is from Ghana and his mother's white. So Vic, yes, you want to make an excuse for why Africa. No, but it's best to take responsibility. Man, we didn't do the right thing. We got to make sure this true. That never happens again. We owe the black diaspora, we owe them an apology. Because we got nothing over here. Over here, it's wrecked up. They done come over here and these Europeans again. They ain't came over here and messed us up because we gave them a foothold. There's no other excuse.
Okay, check it out. We got the
moving
Africans
and that's why, what's his name? I forget that who's doing this podcast. I forget. That's why he's looking. I forget his name. He looking like, really? What? Because he know the real deal. He like, man, that's. Understand, and he understands it a little bit more because he's from South Africa. South Africa on that continent has had to deal with something that the rest of that continent has not understood. Colonization is not the same thing as apartheid and what they went through. The sure ideas of race surrounding race, having white water fountains, segregation, all those things. What that does to a people is crazy. So he doesn't. I don't think he's exactly kind of like he's like he's just being nice to the host. I would have pushed back. I said, wait a minute now. I mean, that's just like if you go out here, I saw a story on the For My Man the other day. A girl with her boyfriend, she had an abusive boyfriend, and he told her, I want you to get your friend, kidnap your friend, and I'm gonna rape her, and you gonna watch. I can't do that. And she helped him kidnap her friend, and her friend escaped. You know what? When the police came for her, the police is like, I was scared of him. I was afraid I did it. But you know what? Her ass got time. And she had to make a deal to turn against him. Why? Because they didn't see her as part of the crime. They like, when you got a chance to go away, did you call the police? Did you get some help? Did you? Well, no, you didn't. Africans, did you make some money from the slave trade? Is some of your family still rich from the slave trade? Have you done anything to really help these communities throughout the diaspora, these nations, these places that have built up throughout the diaspora, to reach out to them, to apologize to them, everything besides a little fake ass spot? Now with some backing. No, they can't, because they ain't got took over so bad. Nobody, it's lip service. It's whatever else is. When you trying to explain away their excuses, you can't explain away no cute excuse. If you was there to do the crime, you doing some time. The Africa's doing time because Africa did the worst. When you make a deal with the devil, it is never good. He's always going to put you in bondage forever. It's going to be hard getting up out of it. Okay. I said what I said. Okay. Let's talk about South Africa and what's going on. It is a lot going on in South Africa right now. And a lot of people are trying to tell the South Africans they're wrong. But I don't see that as being the case. I understand now. I think it is wrong to try to hurt people or anything like this, but to hurt people. But I understand why they're so angry about illegal immigration through what has happened to their country and everything that has happened to them. And what the closeness that comes with when things like apartheid or things like desegregation happen to you as a group. There's a closeness that probably South Africans probably have with each other after that experience, that they don't want to lose their culture or their thing to people who come in weaker, not understanding what they've been through, not understanding and appreciating it, and trying to dismantle or weaken it. So let me play this so you guys can see what's going on here. And this is not only happening in South Africa, but it's also happening in Ghana too. Okay, I'm playing this from Ken Gondon Nation. And so I know I forget this guy's name, but he's really, I'll look at him. He has 10 on this.
Issues. Do you see American citizens running up on people, grabbing people?
He's saying that the African migrants in South Africa don't have to behave in the way that they're behaving.
Go back to your countries. We are tired of you guys. Go back to your countries. Don't destroy your country. You come to South Africa to destroy your country.
He would even compare it to the migrants in America. We have migrants all the time being dumped into the black community in America, but we don't behave like that. So the problem, I think, with this argument is I get generally what he's saying. And the reality is, number one, South Africa under the ANC is not as established as the United States of America established in 1776, okay? So if you're going to vote for a black South Africa, which is what happened in 1994, they are what we consider figuring it out, okay? It's only been 30-something years. So what happens is that government is not going to be as organized, it's not going to be as trained as what you see in America. Furthermore, black Americans are the minority in America. Black South Africans are the majority. Here's what I could guarantee Phil Scott 100%, and I believe he will not disagree with me. If black America had its own country and African immigrants caused any level of problems that South Africans saying that they are causing, and we had little recourse to get arrested, like the South African police have little recourse to do so because they're not properly funded, I would say the same thing would happen, if not worse. And this is what we got to understand. When you're in a country like the United States, first world, the threat of going to jail, military everywhere, police everywhere, yes, you're not going to be attacking migrants. And obviously you live in a better economy. You're not worried about that. You got money to do, you got things to do, you got nice gyms and all that stuff. If black America was under the same, had its own country with the same economy as South Africa, and the African migrants were in black America, and we only had our freedom for 30 plus years, we would do the same thing.
In the United States of America, we have a lot of immigration issues.
And I agree with that. I totally agree with him. I think that these powers that be set it up that way. They do this. They've been doing this for centuries in different countries. They set it up where countries are hurting economically, and quiet as it's kept, the black community is hurting here. This is what the formation of ADOS is for, the formation of FBA and all these things. These are answers to illegal immigration and what it's cost black people in salaries and everything like that. When Donald Trump says black jobs, he ain't lying. There's some black jobs because of what black people went through in this country. So there's a population of us that are under educated, not this, just like in South Africa, because you had people come in who were sociopaths and psychopaths who were running the government and felt that you as a black person didn't deserve education. You didn't deserve a good way of life, even though that was your right way of life. Now listen, for us, we're the minority. Now I don't know, I still don't get in my head how y'all ate, how 100 million of y'all let them 2 million. I still don't get it, but I get it kind of, because they got like Brit, Europe, they can cause some shit. I get what you did, I understand, but it's kind of still mind boggling. But you know what I'm saying? But people can come listen, that's that people don't think you should have a way of life. And so now South Africans have gotten trying to get their country back, trying to reestablish, but these people have had unfair advantages in their country. They've set up shop. Now they want to make it. Now they start to talk about the person that they can't work the system of apartheid as well as they used to could, because the world got on them back in the day. That's how when Nelson Mandela came out and all these things, because the world came after them. They still practice it in other ways. White supremacy goes up. Let me tell you, South Africans, what we as Black Americans know. White supremacy, we've been living in the belly of the beast. We understand it more than anybody in the whole world. Black Americans understand white supremacy. What they do is they get smart. They start getting politically correct. That's why y'all saying migrants and stuff like that. They start, because now they have to protect, because they've been exposed as the psychopaths and sociopaths these white supremacists are, right? So now they're working on the other end to make you look bad. Okay, well, see, these South Africans are not educated and they're not this and that and this and that. When you've been the mistreated person in the country, that doesn't mean that ain't bad South African, Black South Africans. It's bad people in all groups. But they'll try to make it like it's the majority of them. See, well, they don't really this and that. And it'll excuse them for bringing in subcultures, which they'll try to bring in, who share some of their ideology as far as race is concerned. And what they'll do with subcultures, like they do in America, they bring in subcultures, even people who are Black, who are immigrants. They will bring them in, making them think they're better educated, they're more hardworking, they're more this and that, because they bought the narrative that white supremacy is put out on Black America. Same thing they putting out on South Africa. They'll put out this narrative that they don't really got the education, they really don't got this, they don't really got this and that. Well, a lot of them don't either. They'll train themselves up in all kind of stuff. Okay. So what they do is put out that narrative, and so they can create other subgroups to come in that share their same ideology, and they low key start doing secretive racism. As a matter of fact, the new type of racism that comes is going to make you long for the days of apartheid, because at least in apartheid, you knew who the enemy is. Now the enemy is went underground. He ain't making you eat at separate water fountains. He ain't making you do this. He ain't making you do that. But he's trying to run a system up under you that is still just as venomous and still just as biased ideology, still just as crazy as before. It's just now undercurrent. And so now in these 30 years, and different from them, they have to learn how to work because they're trying to regain the system back. But they still got these white supremacists running the country. Even if they in power, some of them that get in power, they'll put even other South Africans in power and puppeteer them. Or they'll bring immigrants in. Pretty soon, y'all like Black America. You will be looking at an immigrant and talking about they're the first Black person. They'll start putting them, melting them into your story. Like Barack Obama is not the first Black American. We have not had a Black American. My great grandparents and them used to say, "You ain't gonna never see no Black president." I was like, oh, baby. And then when I thought about Barack Obama, because I wasn't thinking back in the day, I was like, oh, well, Barack Obama is a Black person, but he's not. He's the first Black king. What they meant was, we're never gonna see anybody from our lineage who is a descendant of slaves, who had to go through whose segregation it was targeted at. Jim Crow was targeted at. We have yet to see a Black American president. Kamala Harris is an immigrant. So is Barack Obama. So this is the kind of systems they'll bring them in and they'll say, these are better than you. And they'll become subcultures that'll start agreeing. So this is what South Africans are understanding. South Africans are angry because they like, we don't want that bullshit. And they got the majority, they got a lot of them there. And they're like, we all should be, we need to give these jobs to us. Train us how to do it. Train our people. We got people out here home. And then they starting to bring out some funky narratives. Now, while some South Africans, they've done damage to South Africans. That don't mean that South Africans don't have to take responsibility for themselves. But these people have done a lot of damage to the group by doing segregation, apartheid. And so they don't feel like they got no responsibility. Now they want to wash their hands. Well, they come to work drunk. They come to work this. They try to make all these kind of excuses. When they could get the labor out of you for free, they wasn't making them excuses. I mean, for Black people, that's how they used to do Black people in America. When they could get the labor out of us for free, it wasn't them excuses. Now in South Africa, when they could probably get cheap labor out of y'all, now they want the cheap labor from other people, and they want to make you look bad. Keep fighting, South Africans. Just don't do nothing hideous. That's why I say don't fight, don't hurt people. That's not the thing to do. But what is smart is to keep fighting for your culture, for your system, what you built. Because what they'll do is they'll bring in people look just like you. And see, that's the thing they've been playing against us. The Democrats do this too. They play against you. See, they Black. Why you don't listen to other Black people? We all Black. No, we ain't, but we ain't all got the same values. And what they don't want is they don't want people coming over to their culture who don't understand what they've been through with apartheid, trying to soften them or change their stance. They know what they got to rebuild. And you coming from Uganda, Nigeria, and all this shit, you don't understand shit that done went on. Your ass wasn't there to help them during apartheid. Your ass should have been coming over there with bricks and sticks and shit to help to get the white supremacists out. But y'all was coming over there only for jobs and trying to work up under the white supremacists. Money from y'all country and shit. South Africans stood 10 toes fucking down, like us. Had to go through all this shit. They like, we ain't got nowhere. This is it. Some of them may wear it off, but for the most part, they try to stand 10 toes down. And y'all running all over Africa, jumping from country to country. They like, nah, bitch, you ain't coming up in here like that. It's not gonna be that easy. Just because you black don't mean you share our value systems. And yet the white supremacists, the devil we know. We ain't gonna bring in here the devil we don't know in the same color as us, trying to act like the white supremacists. So the white supremacists can puppeteer you around and pretend like you us. We got enough sellouts of our own. I understand the South Africans perfectly. Shout out to South Africans. Okay. Y'all ain't dumb. Don't let them tell y'all that. Don't let them start telling y'all we all black. We wasn't all black when they did the slave trade. The motherfuckers were slaves. They said we wasn't all black. Yeah, now they want to do we all the same. No, we ain't. South Africans, y'all be playing on that. They not like no. Everybody gets. We all different cultures. That don't mean we don't love you, but and that don't mean we don't want some of y'all here. But you have to respect the culture and respect who we are. I agree with South Africa. That's how Black America feels. Okay, and we coming over here trying to usurp the culture. Shout out to South Africans. Well, I found it very powerful. The other day, I do not like chasing people and doing violence like that. I don't think that people, because some people are coming out of horrible circumstances and really just trying to find jobs and everything. But the bad problem is a lot of you people, when you do that, when you running from your countries and stuff like that, and you run into somebody else's country and you come in there and claiming, I'm hard working and but you didn't stand 10 toes down and work in your own country. You got to be respectful of the people there. You got to be respectful of their lineage, of what they've been through. That's why they want to talk shit on y'all head, because you over there talking shit. Not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all. Don't do that. Even the Ghanaians are fighting the Nigerians coming in. They're like, oh, hell no. It's because illegal immigration is a tool of white supremacy. It's a way to get cheap labor. It's a way to exploit a group of people and also create subcultures to make the culture that's fighting against white supremacy look bad. You gotta understand the game. And you gotta understand, as an immigrant, the game they play. You can't come in thinking we better, we work harder, we this and that. What? I've heard tons of Black people in the diaspora come in and say that to Black Americans. Not understanding the history of Black America, not understanding anything. It's the craziest shit I've ever heard they be saying. I'd be like, what? Where you coming from? What are you talking about? No, you mean you work for cheaper? Like you working for cheap? You don't work harder. As a matter of fact, I had a white person say to me not too long ago, said, well, they don't do as good a job as the Blacks used to do cleaning and building. I said, what the? But you know, because they wanted cheaper. Like, see, the thing about capitalism, I'm a capitalist, but it has to be regulated, and it has to be with capitalism can't function by itself. Neither can a socialism, in my opinion. They have to coexist. You need a little bit of socialism, in my opinion. This is just my personal opinion. You need a little bit, or socialist ideas. I won't say socialism, socialist ideas to check capitalism every now and then for getting out of control. You need regulation. I love that we have Medicaid, Medicare in this country and all these things to help people. I like that. That is part. I like that. That we have public school systems and things like that. But I also like a free market, as long as it's regulated. Because you can't, if you have just socialism, we've seen that what that's done to countries. And we've seen what just capitalism can do. We see that in America. America's constantly fighting itself on capitalism, and so. But we need to ensure that it always stays a little bit of a mix. That capitalism is our main system, but it's also being checked with a little bit of things that are, that we socialist. This is my personal opinion on that, okay? But I understand what that's about. White supremacy is really behind all that, okay? And that's not a dog against white people. It's just saying what it is. Okay, so this other part aside, this other guy has something I thought very interesting to say too. about South Africa. Let me see here if I can pull it up. Okay, he's got xenophobia in South Africa. This guy is Uche, and he always says some really good, interesting things. I really like him. It's his name, his thing where you can see him. He's on TikTok, I believe, and Instagram is UCHE. But I like what he said about xenophobia in South Africa. You can see his whole part to everything he says on his page, but I like what he said right here. So let me let y'all listen to a little bit of what he said with this.
Xenophobia in South Africa. I want to explain why South Africans are very, very angry at the African immigrants, especially Nigerians, in their country. This is because I keep seeing a lot of Nigerians online telling South Africans that the problem with South Africa is their government. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, the audacity for Nigerians to tell South Africans that their problem is their government when our own country is literally on fire. What color of audacity is? If this is not narcissism, I don't know what the fuck else is. We thank God. Second, you have to understand, I am not in support of what's going on in South Africa. I'm also not in support of it. I'm just a man who has the gift of common sense and logic. I understand mathematics. I'm just pointing out the obvious. However South Africans decide to handle business in their country is between them and God. I am focusing on my own focus. We thank God. It is very true that there are about 7% white people in South Africa. And within that 7%, most people who have power in South Africa are white. That is very true. Now, personally, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, I don't understand what type of voodoo or magic that these white people have over black South Africans that make them have so much power. Perhaps this has something to do with politics. I'm not a politician. That's not my frequency. It's very foreign to me, perhaps. However, the black South Africans feel the inequality, and they have decided consciously or subconsciously to starve out the economy by asking for more, as they should. This makes them appear lazy to you because you don't realize that this is resistance. Starving out the economy means that everything in the country will just come crashing down. And unfortunately, when it comes to starving the economy, the people on the bottom, the most disadvantaged people will suffer the most, meaning that a lot of the very impoverished people, usually black folks, will suffer the most before it gets to the wealthy. Because oftentimes there is a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. Now, the elite knows this though, because they're not stupid. So as a result, they have created something I call a buffer. This is when they open up immigration ports for desperate migrants all around the world, especially black migrants from other parts of Africa, who are happy to work for less. This keeps the economy afloat, keeps the gap bigger, and slows down their starvation process. This is what's pissing them off. So a lot of these desperate migrants, especially the ones from Africa, when you get to South Africa and the powerful elites employ you and give you crumbs, you're sitting there like Mumu thanking God for buttering your bread without realizing that you are settling for crumbs. And because you lack emotional intelligence and common sense, you judge the black South Africans and call them lazy because they refuse to dance for massa. This is literally the exact same thing that happens in America as well, by the way. Yes. Black America. This is because your sense of success is white supremacist. Because do you not understand that the reason why your country is a shithole to begin with is because of what the Europeans did to our ancestors? Instead of us holding them accountable, we desperately go to their countries. And then when we get there, we're happy to settle for less. We thank God. This is because underneath all that pseudo-black pride, we truly believe that white is superior. And it shows in our actions, not our words. Because what we should truly be doing is fighting the exact same resistance all throughout Africa, starting with our own countries. So, dear Nigerians, I recommend that we leave South Africans alone to focus on their matter while we focus on the matter in our country. We thank God. Part 4 on xenophobia in South Africa. I want to explain why South Africans are very...
I love that. And I think he is exactly right. And it is a lot of times, like he said, they create a buffer class. That's the word I want to use, a buffer class. And buffer classes come in and they will criticize the other classes. Like he's saying that some Nigerians, the nerve too, is criticizing South Africans, not understanding the system of apartheid. You have never been through the system. It's shameful that you even got to come to South Africa after... You should be a country. Nigeria should be helping South Africa, helping them clean. They be able to stand against white supremacy. But instead, y'all fucked up. Y'all ain't had to even went through nothing like my personal opinion, except for the genocide, and y'all did that to yourself. But I mean, you ain't went through nothing like apartheid. This is my personal opinion. He really gets it. And they do this in Black America also, because Black Americans, what what they did not like about Black America is Black America was getting ready to become competitive. Black America had become competitive, despite everything they had done to Black America. And buffer classes are a way to bring in, you look at some of the buffer classes, like you look at the Italian Mafia. That's why I get so mad at Black men comparing themselves to the Italian Mafia. No offense, but a lot of them, some of them were racist and came in here as a buffer class to sometimes hurt Black people instead of being friendly to Black people. And they also use other Black immigrants. You hear constantly stories about how Black immigrants have been things that were supposed to be status quo. I mean, supposed to help Black Americans in like college and stuff like that. Black immigrants coming and getting scholarships and stuff like that. And it trips me out that Africans be benefiting from that, because Africans are the slave traders. So Africans were the original slave traders coming over here, getting the deals. Now think about how this makes Black Americans feel. You getting the benefit off of what America is trying to do to pay back for, well, not giving, and not all of, but a little bit of Black America's justice claim against the slave trade, segregation, and Jim Crow. Here you come with you partnered with the enemy. It's just as wild as white women getting affirmative action and DEI. It's wild shit. That's why I'm like, okay, Donald, do what you got to do with the system, because we need to be building it back up through lineage. My goodness, he's right. How do you think South Africans feel? They know what they're trying to do. This is what the elite do. This is what white supremacy does. The elite or white supremacy, they both one and the same. Because the elite, even though the elite can be a variety of people, they promote the system of white supremacy because they hide behind the system of white supremacy. Even the elite in America used white supremacy. The elites the elites are not one race, even though they majority of one group. But the elites use a system like white supremacy because it's effective in keeping the class that's going to come after them down. They use a poor Irishman, like men who own Anglo-Saxons and stuff, who own plantations and stuff. They bring in a crude white Irish sharecropper, ain't got no money, ain't had nothing, to whoop the Black slaves and treat the Black, instead of siding with the Black slaves saying this is a bad system. Now they get in there, they think they was better than, they use the system of white supremacy. You a white man, even though the elite person owning read about it. The elite person owning the plantation was far above some of these poor Irish people, poor people they use. Yet the system of white supremacy would make them feel like they were something. They were partnering with this elite. A lot of them was poor and they had no money. And even some elites, when some systems of wealth people came into wealth, that's why you got Black people who practice white supremacy. You had some Black people who own slaves, not for the sake of owning slaves to help their families. Most Black people bought into slavery and everything because that's the way they made people buy their families and stuff like that when they came out of slave trade and stuff like that. And America was smart. They knew that, Black people own slaves, but there was some evil, very little, but some evil Black people who tried to join the system of white supremacy. We got some still doing it today. They own the slavery. The slavery came back in. I own me some Black slaves. You had some who wasn't doing it to buy back their rent. You had some that was running the system. And they still saw themselves, even though they was using the system of white supremacy, Them poor white sharecroppers still thought they was they weren't understanding it's they using the system. They don't give a fuck about you. They really don't care about race. Race is a social construct. They really don't give a shit about that. They're like, the real elites don't really give about that. It's just one of the things, one of the very powerful tools they use to keep the group that's gonna check them in check. And when y'all realize that, y'all go, yeah, you know. It is what it is, okay? So yeah, I cannot blame South Africans. I think what's going on in South Africa is so complex. I think that if you are a person who is coming to South Africa to live in South Africa, and sometimes, you know what, I believe God calls people to live in different places and be amongst different groups and stuff like that are different from them. And if God called you to live in South Africa among the South Africans or wherever God called you to be, respect the people that were there. Respect the cultures. You can't just come in there and just be, that's been a lot of the white men's problem, coming in here just trying to dominate everybody. You can't do that. You got to respect what's there. And then add your own little bit of self to that. But you have to be humble and respect how these people move in the history that was there way before you. And respect the boundaries of the culture. That's what I hate about in America. We got people who be up here on TV cosplaying Black Americans, speaking for Black America. I'm like, what? That? Hold up, how you talking about that? That ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't you? What? Ain't you a Nigerian? What are you talking about, Black American? You can give your opinion, but you need to distinctively understand you cannot speak for Black America because you didn't go through the things that Black America went through. Just because you come here and you first generation and you're born here, you're not like my family. Your family immigrated here. My family was kidnapped. And they've been here, they've been here for many, many, many generations. And they're American as American. And just because that our culture was sold all over the world doesn't mean that it's just the way we talk or the way we act. Our culture came from something. It came from the stuff we went through. So have some respect, and have some respect for the South Africans and what they've been through too. And the Ghanaians who's even saying, dang, I ain't gonna come all over here. And they even arguing. But it's mostly been South Africa you've been hearing about that, okay? So that's if you are called to those places, if you're Black American, whoever you are, always respect the place you're going to and the natives that are there. And also respect the process of assimilation. A lot of you motherfuckers be talking about Black people divesting, Black people delineation, Black wives, Black. It's xenophobic if y'all delineating. But y'all delineate every day. I see motherfuckers holding Haitian flags living in America. I see motherfuckers holding Mexico flags living in America. I mean, what the fuck is going on the hell? And when I say I'm American, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But that's because you think you have ownership to us. Because you relate to what you've seen on television and all those things, but that is not what makes us who we are, and respect that. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna say there. Okay, that's we leave that there. It's just really interesting though. Okay, let me see, y'all. Do I got any other story for y'all? We want to end it with a okay. Let's see. We ended on this. Okay, this is a conversation I heard from two women on Maury Goins' show, Maury Goins. So I'm gonna play this. I thought this was interesting. Okay. Um,
I never expected my son to marry a black woman, and I'm gonna get it. But at his university where he went to school at, there wasn't many of us. And then he's dated black women. He just married a woman that's mixed as well. For the longest, I thought Mariah was gonna marry a white guy, but then it was always a Puerto Rican, or Dominican, or
Yeah.
I never cared.
I don't care either, but I just think it's more cultural. Like it's more like like what is the experience you want to have? Like what do you enjoy about that person? Like if there are just certain cultures that you might be drawn to,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like when I grew up, so many people in my neighborhood were Spanish. I grew up speaking Spanish. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's
Mhm.
like I was always exposed to so many different cultures
Mhm.
that it never was like ew this or ew that. It was always just like we're
Yeah,
all
it never
people.
bothered me.
Hey, I found it too interesting. These two black women having this conversation, and it depends on where you were raised. I even hear this conversation sometimes happen if you were raised. I heard Talib Khalid talking about this about New York City, about him being raised, about him being ADOS and how ADOS. I mean, him being really from being Black American, but he's saying, but I'm not as xenophobic. It's not xenophobic to claim your culture, Talib Khalid, and I think that sometimes the access to what was going on in New York City post 1965, there is a different type of situation happening. Now, I think sometimes a lot of the younger Black generation, the Generation X and going on down, does not understand the racism because you're dealing with, you went to school with first generation, maybe Haitians, first generation Nigerians, maybe first generation Puerto Ricans, so you didn't understand the racism that was coming out of the home through their parents. You just related to them by going to school with them, and they adapted to your Black culture because it was the dominant culture there. So you're not understanding the construct of what went down there. I heard Talib Khalid talking about this, and I thought I'm very surprised he doesn't understand the construct and what he experienced in New York City was really what you experienced was kind of a little bit of it was a truth, but it was a falsity too, because you weren't seeing what they may have had to go home to, hearing things about Black Americans are not good as us, they don't do this, how people, I even heard people on Biggie's documentary talking about how a lot of a lot of the people from the different parts of Caribbean and Africa, stuff like that lived in New York, didn't want their kids hanging around Black Americans because they thought of them as bad. That was so you don't think that affects those people that you're communicating with, but they have to survive in school. So they're gonna act because you're the dominant culture. They're gonna act like you. So you thinking how they all my friend, they all cool. I let Puerto Rico, and all, but you don't understand everything that those are buffer culture, buffer cultures, and sometimes what's going on there. Okay, all the way. But this is what happens here. A lot of times we as Black people, we get in these areas and we think, I was raised and where I was around a lot of Latino people too. Sure, hell, they say my grandfather was half Latin. I don't know. We don't really know. We know what he said. Okay, that's all we know. But that did still help me learn Blackness and how important it is to as Black people to have a code. Even if sometimes I don't agree with all our codes, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I don't agree with it. But there are a lot of Black people who just are nonchalant. They just went through life nonchalant. Like these women were talking about, I don't really care. I mean, it did bother you, just a little bit. And because you know why? Because you thought about it. Because when I heard this woman say, she said, I always knew he was going to be married white, but I guess I really never thought. But yes, you did, because that's why you knew he was going to always marry white. And you also knew the atmosphere you was raising him in. Women, and it doesn't mean that your son can't find a nice person of a different culture or a different race, but it should not be because they haven't been around Black people and you a Black person. It should not, if you happen to be raised in a rich area or wealthy area, that's why it's so sad to see a lot of these rich, wealthy celebrities and their kids be marrying out of, because they don't understand what white supremacy has done to mindsets. And so they didn't take time to make sure their children belong to certain things like Jack and Jill, making sure your kids have some connection to other Black kids through other such as certain things. Don't only make their world white dominant. And that way you will know your son is choosing not out of what he's dominated by, or your daughter's choosing right not out of the culture they're dominated by, but they're choosing, you've installed in them things that make them choose a good person. Hopefully, you want them to keep the culture going. But if they chose not because somebody was white or because they wasn't nothing but around white people, but because you instilled in them the things they need to pick a good partner, a good spouse. You women sound like you lack that energy. No offense. I don't know. I didn't hear the whole show. I just heard this clip. But it sounded like, it would never really matter to me. It just really didn't. It's hard parenting. I watch parents. It's hard parenting. And it's hard to see the deeper things. You can't just be a mama, daddy, like providing, but you got to be a teacher, a problem solver, all the things you have to do. And a lot of parents, y'all not all that. Sometimes a lot of y'all ain't all that. And so when your kids grow up and you saying, dang, they ain't like a white person. I don't know, what are these person I raised? Oh Lord, because you was too busy trying to give them the things, give them material things, give them all kind of things, but not give them things that sustain them, to sustain who you are, to sustain ethics and values that make them not be. Remember, listen, white supremacy, raising your kid. I always tell people, watch Good Fences. Good Fences is such a powerful movie because it shows you that raising your kids around an all-white dominant culture is not always good either. You got to make sure that your kids get, I think Blackish was good at showing that too. You got to make sure your kids have a sense of self-love. And the reason why I say, no offense to white people, but because there's this racism, there's this thing that's prevalent in America, that thing, the self-hate things subtly run through you guys' culture to that make Black people self. So you always got to put your kids in things to understand that that Black people are powerful too. Black people do great things. So you can't just make them think this is all the white, so they won't grow up saying crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or being crazy or picking someone because of their race. But picking people on the values and who they are. So parents, you got to do parenting. And if you're in an all-white neighborhood, I suggest to you to make sure your kids get a little bit of everything. Take your kids, and especially their own culture. Make sure your kids have a sense of pride around who they are and self-love about who they are as a people. So because it's a lot of Black people out here choosing people because they didn't have no other choices. They was over here, they've been raised in white supremacy, and they done brought into white supremacy values, white supremacy, European standards, European look standards and everything. And just the idea that white is better or anything other than Black is better. Black men, it's the same thing with Black men. Like I keep hearing Black men saying, well, see the women in the Dominican, the women here, they act like this. Your women were not born into Dominican Republic. It takes a different type of man to be married. Dominican Republic has a different landscape. Those women are a certain way because of that culture, that place. Same thing with Black American women. You have to be a certain thing when you're in America. It makes you culturally something different. Quit trying to be like every fucking body else. And learn how to deal the cards you've been dealt in the best way. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. Crazy a lot of stuff I'm seeing out here, okay? And a lot of it is because we don't bring in a sense of self-esteem and self-love among ourselves. It ain't got nothing to do with hair, fake weave. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. That shit's stupid. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Because I see people with natural hair and be self-hating like a mud. So I'm just trying to tell you, the self-love is something that's put on the inside, and it starts in the home. It starts with parents. All right. So that's what we're gonna I think that's what we're gonna end the show with today, you guys. So just think about that. You have to go the extra mile when your kids are raised around a certain area. Okay, you have to go an extra step. Okay, so that's what I'll say on that note right there. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you have to do different, you have to move differently. Okay, so in that case, that's what we're gonna end it on, you guys. Thank you for hanging out, listening to me. Remember, you can hit me up on the Carlotta Chat with Facebook page. You can also hit me up on Instagram on Carly's_Galaxy. That's Carly's with an S _Galaxy. Okay, and TikTok is Keisha Carlotta, and what is it? X? It is Carlotta 72 and C Chatwood Show. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. It seems like it's getting ready to go fast. We're gonna be right back at the weekend again. Okay, so enjoy your week. Have a good one. I am out. I think I'm gonna go I gotta find me some lunch, y'all. What am I? I don't know what I'm. I have no clue what I'm gonna eat for lunch. I need to do something. We'll figure it out. I'll be trying to I don't know. But you know what? Like sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I have a taste for something, and then when I get it, I'm like, oh, did I really want that? I don't know. So it's sometimes it's back and forth. But you guys enjoy your rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. I am out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.